دیگر سرود مقدس جمهوری اسلامی ایران
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نون والقلم وما يسطرون ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم فستبصر ويبصرون بأيكم المفتون إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين فلا تطع المكذبين ودوا لو تدهن فيدهنون ولا تطع كل حلاف مهين هماز مشاء بنميم مناع للخير معتد أثيم عتل بعد ذلك زنيم أن كان ذا مال وبنين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
We live our dreams. In order to find our goals, we have to think. Even the concept of extinction will change. No one can stop technology. I thought a new world is beginning. Charmel is the story of ups and downs. The story of walking in the dark. The story of continuing and running. Charmel is the story of all those people who chose to continue and decided to persist. Charmel is the story of all of us. We in Charmel have stations for politicians, innovators, and all those with special abilities to tell the stories and experiences in a brief recital. Darugar brand, Iran talent, royal. Fidibo is short for Visitor book. Charmel is the storyteller of all original Iranian business.
میخوام بهت نشون بدم که پولامو چطوری پس
I
اندازی
want to
کنم.
show you how I
اپلیکیشن
save
میشو
my
نصب
money.
کردم. با
I
پولامو طلا
installed
میخرم.
the Mimi app. I buy gold with my money.
اینو میبینی این شمش
You
طلاست.
see this?
تو هم
This
میتونی با میلی
is a
تو
bar of
24
gold.
ساعت شبانه روز
You
فقط با چند تا
also
کلیک طلا بخری
can
بفروشی.
buy gold with only a few clicks. In the name of God, I'm Arsalan Baselizadeh. Happy to have you in our second day of Charmer events. I'm happy that people from all around our country have been present. We have new guests. We host them with honor. I think to increase our energy, let's cheer ourselves up. Okay. Those who we had the good luck to see them last day, well, you know that we had a few very successful guests. Well, me and Mr. Foroutan hosted them. Mr. Davoud Abedi Amoli, founder of Taj, and Mr. Mousavi, CEO of Behrouz, and also the founder of Baraka. Without any preamble, let's go watch a clip. We have to feel the life. We have to touch the happenings. We have to learn from the happenings, and we have to understand the hardships. We have opportunities to see and experience. Every person is a treasure house full of experiences. Experiences that we cannot repeat. In Charmer event, we will hear about experiences of those who lived in a life full of experiences. Okay, please applaud yourself. Let me say that today, like yesterday, we have the opportunity to have a very special host. Let's have it for Mr. Behrouz Foroutan. We lost the house, we lost the properties, we lost our car. That's what Behrouz Foroutan, the founder of Behrouz, said to his wife. But he never let his honor and his trust go away. And his wife's answer was really interesting. She said, "It doesn't matter. This infrastructure of your work is still there." That was the beginning of a new start. He rented the house he sold, and in his 11 meters kitchen, he made jams and sholezar. Behrouz Foroutan, born in 1334, born in Muniri of Tehran. He was 10 when he lost his father, and he was the man of the house. To help the family, he did everything he could. He was always in trouble for his mischiefs in his youth. He was so vibrant that he had to change his high school 4 times. But before that vibrancy, there lay a very vibrant mind. He became a teacher after his college. When he was done with teaching, he became a subcontractor. But he lost a project and rented his own house. But with a vibrancy, he started again from zero. After a time, he managed to get a small workshop. With getting the permits, he had only one step left when everything got fired and burned down. But again, he didn't step down. He began again, and Behrouz rose again from the ashes. And today, in the 15th event of Charmer, we have one man that made a brand by his bare hands, Mr. Behrouz Foroutan, the founder of Behrouz. let me take this. We are honored to have you here. If you want to act like you did yesterday, let it be serious. Anything that you see fit. Ardalan yesterday seriously harassed me. And usually friends harass each other in that way, so I have to honor him. He's so able of managing this hall. I don't know if your friends were here yesterday. Yesterday I was in a different team. Now today I want to change my teams, if it's okay. Yesterday that I was here, I guess it would be better that we reviewed what our guests from yesterday said. I calculated, and it seems that yesterday we had around 200 years of experience, and yesterday we had around 1 million hours of thought. Because it's not really important who is the head of an industry, it's important who is head of thoughts. I hope we can have more thought today more than yesterday. Just for those who weren't present yesterday to know what happened. What I remember compared to what I learned yesterday is that those who are wise have several things in common. First, they base their lives on their goals. Second, along with the financial process, they also think about education. Third, if they fail in something, they jump, they leap, they will not set back. They may change their strategy. One of my friends, who was a guest here yesterday, said, I did earn from a financial market, but I did spend it all in my leisure. I just want to say that for entrepreneurs, it's important to have a positive mindset. He who must have a positive lifestyle, not just live. Those only live who only think about money. But those who live positively, they have network and a lot of other stuff going on, but they do have financial profits along with them. Our guest yesterday, they taught us that they had to stand because they owe something to their mother, their country. You have the opportunity to be in this special environment, but remember, everywhere on this world is ground, but this place is our country. We are all generals of this country. This is what I saw among our yesterday's guests. Mr. Amoli said he worked with the least amount of profit and the most amount of endeavors. In his youth, he sold products for 10 shahi. You probably don't know how much it's worth. 2 shahi is 1 riyal. Azar, 1,000 shahi is 10,000 tumans. And it made 2,430,000 tumans. He saw the apex and he took a small step. I just want to tell you, guys, have foresight. Take small steps towards your goal. Having foresight gives you the ability of thinking and small steps gives you the ability of development.
بله
Yes,
آقای تاج
Mr. Taj, Mr. Amoli,
خیلی جالبه گفت من
it's
کفن
interesting
فروشی
to say.
می‌کردم.
He used to sell shrouds. He wanted to earn money. He used to have stands. We used to call it جعب آینه. We used to sell stuff near school or plums. And when they couldn't buy that, they took their plums near the prison doors in Sari. I mean, those who were in the detention houses gave him energy for continuing. And later on, he managed to have them work for him later on.
کل تعریف نقش‌آفرینی که کار رو آر نمی‌بینن. جوهر انسانه.
The definition of entrepreneurship is not to see any job as a flaw. And one thing that the entrepreneur people, one trait that they have is their mind is always working, they're always thinking. If you want to think, you may not find an answer, but the act of thinking is the goal. One day you will find a solution. Always have it in mind. Be ready to ask questions. You have to have foresight. Don't accept any propositions. They probably had a lot of profitable propositions, but if it didn't have social values, they wouldn't accept. The entrepreneur will not accept any proposition unless it is on the same line with his goal. One sentence that I might say for him and his kind is that honestly was their savior. And most of all, we are all subject to flaws. People of distinction easily confess to their mistakes because every mistake is an experience. If you use your experiences, you will succeed. If no, you will stay in your state of idiocracy. Mr. Foroutan said that he found the perfect opportunity to bring Big Pen into Iran, and along with all the challenges it had, they endeavored. One of the entrepreneur's goals is to endeavor, to try. Like a mother who looks at her child with a certain air of energy, entrepreneurs have a certain air of energy in their own existence. They are responsible, they have goals, they think around and based on their goals. 2, they always consult. 3, they endeavor. 4, they are not afraid of mistakes and failing. They know they may not succeed, but they leap. They always take a leap. You have to stand up right when you fell down. That's one of the things I have in my book. Sorry if I talk too much. Why don't you applaud? Innovation, research, and smart thinking makes a man think about development. I hope you are like that. I hope you are not human. Being a human is impulsive, like a pigeon. They think for themselves. It's instinctive. Those who think instinctively only think for themselves. You
تفکرتون بالاتر از اندیشه خودتونه.
You actually have to think more than yourself. You think about why you must work, and those who have a collective wisdom think about others too. Humans differ with animals on the part that they think about other creatures. I used to be a teacher. Oh, and today is Teachers' Day, so if you were going to thank teachers, please thank me. I'm here till 3 in the afternoon. Thank you. Please keep this energy you have today. If you are showing your emotions, show it completely. You can clap, you can even yell or scream. It's important that you keep this energy for yourself. And you're also honoring those who are speaking for you and giving you the experience of 1 million hours. And Charma is actually honoring himself with holding these events. They got themselves from 27 employees to 2,700 employees. Usually, effective people start small, but they have a very large goal. Mr. Bayrami said, I sold my house, I was in Hashemi, to pay for its factory. Remember, you can pay for several houses with a factory. It can pay off, actually. They started with 7, but what was important is Mr. Bayrami said that it's true that I started with my family, my sister, my uncle. But in working, I do not have prejudices. In your professional life, you have a separate kind of personality. You have to take heed of your social position. In the board of directors, they have to keep this distance. In their home, they ate together, but professionally, they did compete and manage. That made us develop from where they were in a 7-person industry to become a brand. Please applaud our teacher, Mr. Behrouz Foroutan. Today is Teachers' Day. What makes me worry for those who work for 1 million hours, that we live in a country that we have to continue living. He suggested that the government must think wisely and know the community to save our country, our Iran, from the hardship we are in. Maybe we can save our economy right now. My own sentence, I said it yesterday, I will tell you again. In all the God's words, God's book, the Bible, the Quran, Buddhism, all of them, they have one shared sentence, and it's used for all good people. Holy men do not lie. Lying is the beginning of lawless. Honesty is the start of perfection. All perfect people who congratulate the Teachers' Day to me, be a teacher to help Iran. Thank you. Well, let's get to this introduction clip
آدم درجه یک.
of a very special person. There were easier paths, but Nader Abtahi, for his family name, chose the harder path. Nader, third of Rabtahi generation, had lived in Europe for years, but on the year 1361 he returned back to Iran. He founded the Rabtahi Cholo Kebab in 1992. He could find easier paths, but he took a mop and started from washing the bathrooms. 4 years, 18 hours a day, without any rest. And then there came a day that his uncle gave the factory to him. Finding the Almas Commercial Association, he entered the retail industry, and by starting the Banbar retail center, he entered another industry, manufacturing UPVC windows and doors with Akapus brand, or making the first gasless refrigerator in Iran. With these projects, he added entrepreneurship to his resume. His hands are making the future. From a cloud-based kitchen to DNA-based foods. Nowadays, in China, we see people who started in restaurants and is now working in innovation and entrepreneurship. Nader Raftari, license owner of Raftari Cholo Kebab and the founder of the cloud kitchen of Dam. Please applaud Nader Raftari. I think there's a problem with the audio.
این صدا داره. خب آقا خیلی خوش آمدید.
Welcome,
استاد
ladies and
نادر رفتاری
gentlemen.
عزیز رو
Let's hear
تشویق
it
کنید
for
خانم ها آقایون.
dear Nader Raftari.
آقا خیلی خوش آمدید.
Welcome. Thank you. Hello everyone. I hope you're all successful.
ماست که در خدمت شما.
It's such an honor to have you here.
آقای فروتن.
مثل تیچر مثل فروتن.
باشه شما. آقای رفتاری از
With your
اینجا
allowance.
من با آقای رفتاری بیش از 30 سال رفیقم.
I'm friends with Mr. Raftari more than 30 years. I may make jokes, but I know it will not irritate Mr. Raftari because I know he is social and wants us to be happy. Thank you. If you allow, I want to begin with your first payment, your first salary. Forget about that. Let's talk about your last salary because guys from asset control are here. You talk about your last salary. My first salary, I was working in a lathing shop and I got around 52 months per month. Interesting. Mr. Raftari, in your story of life, you had a very special uncle. Can you recite a few of your memories with your uncle? I hope he's happy. I know he was happy and he will be happy afterlife. Next week will be 1 year from the day he was gone. He was a very special person. He really tried to help all young people, to advise all young people. He always told the parents, if your child cannot do anything, be proud, hold your chin up and say he isn't worth a thing. Don't encourage him without any reason, saying he is a talent or something. Because if you do, there may emerge other kinds of problem later on. He helped me grow, and all I remember from him is kindness.
خب آقا داستان برامون
Well, tell us some stories, a few recitals from your uncle.
یعنی اون چیزهایی که میگید الان زندگی من رو ساخت این آدم
The things that you say actually made your story, made your life. When I wanted to enter Raftari Cholo Kebab, every day for 6 months I tried, and he would say no. After 6 months of me trying and he saying no, finally, after all that happened in that 6 months, he honored me and let me clean the bathrooms. For 4 years, I spent from 4 in the morning to 12 at night to clean the bathrooms. And through all these years, there was only one time that I could go first to our job. 12 o'clock at night, I finished my job, I went home and I slept. I suddenly woke up, I thought it's 4 o'clock, but it was 2. I went to the restaurant at 2 o'clock in the morning. I spent 2 hours in the streets walking around. They called the police and said he is lost. They didn't tell my parents that this has happened. Then they called to say he is not present. When they called my father, he gave the phone to me because he didn't know I didn't tell them. And that's when they calmed down. We called you to tell he's lost. I went to Iran, I went to Al-War school, and through all those years, I got beaten by Mr. Mousavi Balkoui, God bless his soul. He was a manager of that school. I had this behavior when they beat smaller kids. I had to defend them, and in Al-Bor school, you couldn't do that. We had a study room every day, and we came forward, and we got beaten by a piece of wood, and we got back and sat down. From the third day, I wouldn't go sit down. I directly went to get beaten, after which I would go sit down. Then I went to
اصلی ترین
England.
چیزی که توی این برهه
And
خاص
what's
از
the main thing
زندگیتون
that you learned
یاد
in
گرفتید چی
this
بود؟
era of your life in
ببین شما وقتی
England?
تنها زندگی کنی
When you live
خیلی
alone,
داستانش فرق میکنه که
it's
حالا
so much
اینجا
different.
در کشور خودمون بچه
And
ها
when you
میرن حالا
live in
دانشگاه قبول
Iran,
میشن میرن
people get
شهرستانهای
accepted in
مختلف ولی واسه
universities,
کشور خودت
different
ما
cities,
هیچ
but still
کجای دنیا
you
این
are in
عشق
the
و
same
محبتی
country.
که
You can never
بین
experience the
مردممون
same
حالا چه
love
خانواده هامون چه
and
مردممون
kindness
که اصلا هم دیگه رو
which exists
نمیشناسن هم هست
among
هیچ
our
کجای دنیا
people
نیست.
who don't even know each other.
یکی از بهترین
You
تجربه
cannot
ها
find
واسه
that
من این
anywhere
بود
in the world.
که
One
یاد
of my
بگیرم عشق ورزی
best
کنم.
experiences
چرا؟ چون تو
was to
انگلیس
learn
همه
how to love.
اون برای یخن،
Because
یعنی
in
یخ هم
England
نیستن، از یخ یه
people
ذره
were
برترن.
beyond
من اونجا یاد
cold.
گرفتم که بعد عشق ورزی
There
کنم
I
و
learned
همه
how to
انسان ها باید
love,
عشق بدن
how to
یک
love
طرفه.
everyone
چون اگه قرار شما عشق دو
unilateral.
طرفه
Because
بدی
if
فقط داره
you
معامله
love
میکنی. اینو اونجا یاد گرفتم.
bilaterally, it's like a trade.
عشق توی با من
Are you trading with me?
با
Because
شما اشکال نداره.
your love is unilateral.
بله بعد
آقای
It's
دکتر
okay with you.
امروز عادی
And
است
Mr. Rafsari,
و روز
today is
معلمه.
Friday
تبریک عرض
and
میکنم.
it's
خیلی متشکرم مرسی
Teacher's Day.
عرضم اینه که
What I want to say is
فضای کارگاه
you
خانوادگی
can
ببینیم
view this
که این
environment
لطافت
as a
جمعه رو هم
family
درش چاشتی بکنیم از شما عذرخواهی
with
می‌کنم
some intricacy.
بعد
Oh, thank you.
اینو اونجا یاد
Then
گرفتم که
I
باید
learned that you, as a
با مشکلات
humankind,
کنار بیاد. چون زمانی
you
که
have
من
to
اونجا بودم
get
دوران
along with your
تقریبا
problems.
آخریش دیگه دوران
I mean,
جنگ بود، نه تماسی میتونستی بگیری،
when
اصلا یه
I
حالی
was
دیگه
there,
بود. خود
it
انگلیس
was
هم
during
بی‌نهایت
the
یخم، برای
war,
یه بچه مثلا سن
and
کم خیلی جذاب نیست.
it
من واسه
wasn't
همین
so
الان به
interesting
تمام
for
دوستان
a
میگم
kid
میگم
my
اگر
age because
تصمیم داری بچه‌تو بفرستی اون ور
English
دنیا
people are
که
so cold.
یه چیزی یاد بگیره،
And I
مطمئن
always
باش خیلی چیزا رو از
tell other
دست میدی.
people, if
اونا
you
تو
are going
زندگی
to send
آیندهش
your
خیلی
child
بیشتر به
away
دردش میخوره
to
تا اون
learn
تحصیله.
things,
چون تحصیله
remember
رو
that he will
اینجا هم
lose
میتونن
some
انجام
things
بدن.
too. They
خوشبختانه
can
اکثریت بچه‌های
educate
ما
here
که
too.
در این کشور درس میخونن وقتی میرن اونجا
Fortunately,
همشون تالنتن.
people
اونایی که
who
درس میخونن و
educate
میرن
here,
اونور
when they
ادامه
go
میخوان بدن
to
تالنتن.
the other
مطمئنا
side
همون
of the
تالنت رو
world, they
اینجا هم
are a
میتونن
talent already.
ادامه
Of
بدن.
course,
و
they can
امروز هم که دیگه
continue
همه
their
چی آنلاین شده،
talents
تو هر
here too.
دانشگاه دنیا هم بخوان
Nowadays that
ادامه
everything
تحصیل بدن
can
میرن
be done
و
online,
اون
they
اتفاق
can
رقم میخوره.
continue
یعنی
the
شما اگر
a
برگردید
partnership
به
with
عقب توی
other
اون
colleges
بازه
too.
سنی نمیرید انگلستان؟
نه
So if you go back in
من
time,
شما هم
you won't
نفرستادم.
go to England?
هر کس هم بهم میگه
No,
میگم
I
شما
haven't
دارید تو
sent my
بهشت
kids to
زندگی
England.
میکنید، چون تو بهشتید
I,
قدرشو
I tell
نمیدونید.
everyone
حالا
you are
یه
living
سری
in heaven.
مشکلات هست.
Because you
مشکلات
are in it, you do not know its worth.
این
بچه
مشکلات
ها شأن
You
دست
guys,
زدن رو
please
فراموش
do not
نکنید
forget
دست
the
زدن یک شأن
value
داره
of
یک
applause.
احترام داره مرسی
این مشکلات تو همه
There
دنیا
are also
هست.
problems in
مدلاش فرق
Iran.
میکنه
We have them all around the
و
world. There are
آدم
just
باید
different kinds.
جسارت اینو داشته باشه.
People
اکثر عزیزایی که میرن اونور
must have
دنیا
the will to
جسارت
face
اینی
them.
میگن آقا اشتباه کردیم
Usually
رفتیم
people who
میخوایم
go
برگردیم.
to the
ندارن.
other side of the
فکر
world
میکنن
do not have the
سرشکسته
will
میشن برگردن.
to
متاسفانه
come back because
من
they
اینو
do
خودم
not want
تجربه
to
کردم و هیچ وقتم دوست
say that
ندارم برم
they
اونور
were
زندگی
wrong
کنم
and made a mistake.
و عاشق این مملکتم هستم تا آخرش
I
هم
confess that
باش
I made a
وایمیستم.
mistake.
شما
I love
مالک
this
این
country and
مملکتید.
I
همونطور
will
که آقای
stand by it.
دکتر فرودن فرمودن
We owe this country. And as
مستاجر این
Dr.
مملکت
Foroutan has
نیستیم.
already said, we do not
تشویق
lend our
نداشت
place here.
از اون تشویقات
Doesn't that
آقای
deserve a
فروتن
Foroutan lifetime of
میپذیرن.
applause?
خب آقا شما از این
Well,
انگلستان که برگشتید دست
when
فروشی
you came
کردید.
back from
چرا چی شد
England,
اصلا
you
ماجراش
went
چی بود؟
on retail.
ببینید اون مقطعی که من
The days I came
میخواستم
back
برم
to
افتخار اینو
Iran
پیدا کنم که
and I
پرچم این
wanted
خانواده رو
to
دست بگیرم، به هر
hold the
حال
flag of
روزانه
this
خرج
family,
داشتم. دوست داشتم
I had well
دستم تو جیب خودم
expenses. I
باشه.
wanted to pay
داروخانه
for
کار
myself.
میکردم.
I worked in a
داروخانه
medicine
کار میکردم.
pharmacy.
ساعت
We had
12 و نیم تا
lunchtime
2 وقت
from
نهاریمون بود. یه دوست
12:30
جنگ زدم
to
داشتم که از
2
انگلیس
o'clock.
برگشته بودیم.
I
یه
had
بساطی رو
a
توی
friend
میدون
from
انقلاب
the
روبروی
war. He
روبروی
had
سینمای
a
بهمن
retail
رو زمین
stand in
مینداختیم.
front
صبح
of
اون
a
میرفت
cinema.
شروع میکرد به
He went in the
فروختن.
mornings
من توی
and
زمان
I went
این
in my lunchtime.
تایم نهاریمون که تو داروخانه بودیم
that we
میرفتم
were
اونجا
in
وای
the
میسادم
pharmacy. I
دست
went
هوشیاری
there and
میکردم
I
و
sold
ارزم به خدمت شما
those
اگه کسی
retails.
مزاحم اون بود مثلا
If we
نمیذاشون
had a
دست خوشی کنه
troublemaker, I
خدمت اون
would take care
خدمات
of that
میدادم بعد 2 مرتبه
with my
اون
services.
وقتش که تموم میشد اون میامد
And
من میرفتم
when my
مغازه
lunchtime was over,
پدرم رو میزا رو تمیز
I
میکردم
would
که
get
یه
back to
نهار
my
مجانی
father's
بتونم
shop
بخورم
to eat
آقا این
free
فرهنگ
lunch.
خانوادگی شما که
And this
بهتون
family
آموخته که
behavior
پول
that
در آوردن
it
راحت نیست.
taught
یعنی
you
ما
that
خیلی
earning
وقتا
money is not
الان یه قشری
is
از
not
جامعه ما
easy.
فکر میکنن که خب
A
ما
part
الان
of
مثلا
our
کنکورو که میدیم تموم
society
میشه
thinks that
یه
when
گاف
we do
صندوقی تو
our
خونه پدر مادر
concours,
دارن که اینو درش وا
there is
میکنن و خب
a
دیگه همه
safe that they
امکانات
open
فراهمه
and
دیگه.
there's
این رو
everything
شما
ready for
این
us.
فرهنگه از کجا
And
اومد؟
this
چی شد که اصلا
culture, where
یعنی
did
از
it come
ابتدای
from?
فرهنگه بود یا فقط برای شما
Was
بود
it
یا
already
نوعی از
there or
تربیت پدر
was it
مادر
already there
بزرگوارتون
only
بود؟
for you? You
ببینید
learned
این
that from your parents?
فرهنگه رو بستگی داره
This
شما بخواید
culture,
بپذیری یا نپذیری چون تو
it's
خانواده
just
ها
the
واسه
question
همه
of
بچه ها
will
شاید
you
انجام بدن
accept that or
شاید
not.
یکیشون بخواد
Maybe
اینو قبول
families
کنه همه دلشون بخواد
do
راحت
that
بگردن و
for the
پول بگیره من
kids,
چون دلم
but
میخواسته اصلا تو
only
جیب
one of
خودم
them may
باشه
accept that.
از اون فرهنگه
Because I
استقبال
wanted
کردم
to
و
pay
دلم
for
میخواست
myself, I
خودم
did
زندگی رو برای خودم
encourage
بسازم
that culture.
همین که
I
سایه
wanted
پدر
to
مادرم بالا
pay
سرم
for my
بود
own
کفایت
life.
میکرد دوست
As long
داشتم
as my
خودم
parents
با
were
دست
there for
خودم برای
me, it
خودم
was enough.
بسازم
I wanted to
لذتش فکر میکنم
do
خیلی
everything with
بیشتر
my
و
own hands.
ماندگارتر
I
باشه
thought
چون
that would
شما
be more
قاعدش اینه چیزی که براش
enjoyable.
زحمت نکشی هیچ وقت
The
نمیتونی
thing that
قدرشو
you
بدونی
do not
خیلی
try
هم
hard for it,
آقا
you
معلم
cannot
شما
دارم یه ذره این
understand.
صندلی رو بچرخونم
آقا
بهتون
هر
Can I
جور
turn
راحت
this chair
عزیزان
حتما
a
آقا
bit?
اینطوری یه ذره
چرا
معذب
بذار
Yes,
من
yes.
شما
کمک
نه نه خوبه کفایت میکنی
It's okay.
آقا معلم ما در خدمت
جواد
شما
دکتر
So,
نادری
Mr. Teacher,
رفتاری هستم
here
در
you
آقای
go.
رفتاری باشید
Mr. Raftari,
ببخشید
خوشحالم که پیتو که من گرفتی
جونم بریم
دیروز
I
من
wanted
خواستم که
to
یک
change my
سانتی بو
seat
بدن
position
این آقا
for
اجازه
1
نداره گفت همین
centimeter.
که
He
بشه
didn't let me.
ببین چقدر شما دوست داری که اجازه داری که شما
Just
مبلتون
think
باید
how
بریم با
much he
بچه آشتی
likes
کنیم
you that he let
بله.
you change your seat.
آقای رفتاری اون تاریخی که مایی
Mr.
50
Raftari,
تومن میگرفتی چه تاریخی بود
when was it when you
50 تومن میگرفتی چه
earned
تاریخی
52
چند سال
months
پیش بود
every
هلوش
month? It was
فکر
around,
میکنم
I think, 42 years
خیلی کم بود
previously.
ولی
من
یک
Yeah,
سال
سالگرای
it was too
مغازمو
low.
کمتر حقوق میگرفتم
I earned
کمترین
lower
حقوق تو
than
رستورانمو
our
من میگرفتم
shop's workers.
در واقع تجربه میاندوختیم
I earned the least in that restaurant.
جملاتی که من از فرمایشات
So you only
دکتر
earned
رفتاری یا نادر
experience.
خانم خودمون به
The
دست
thing I
آوردن
learned from Dr.
اینه که
Raftari
ایشون
is that
احترام به پیشکسوتان
he
رو
did
در واقع
respect
فراموش نکردن و یاد
the
خاطره هم
experience
امروشون داشتن هم
and
معلمشون
he considered his uncle as
و ایشون همیشه حقیقت رو
his
بازگو
teacher.
کردن
He
و با
did
ارزش‌ها
count on
رو
his own
در واقع
will
ضد ارزش نکردن در واقع به واقع اون
and
چیزی که
kept
درست بود
to
گفتن نه
the
اینکه اون چیزی که خوششون بیاد
values. And he
از
said
7 صبح تا 10 شب
what was right, not
شب
what he
12 من
thought
10
was
نوشتم
good for him. From 10 o'clock,
اون 2 ساعت
it
رو می‌خواستی
was
اضافه کنی
12
من ندی
o'clock.
بروز
You're cutting more overtime, man.
ایشون تا 12 شب در واقع شوشو سرویس ها انجام میدادن
Till
با
12
اینکه نیاز
o'clock,
مالی
he was
نداشتن
cleaning bathrooms,
قناعت مالی و
although he
فرصت
didn't have
زمانی داشتن
that
اما چون
much
کار
of
مقدس میدونستن
need
و نه فرمایش
monetarily.
آقای
He
نادر خان
believed in the
رفتاری
value
همه
of his
کسانی که روز
job.
اینجا بودن
Everyone
در
who
واقع به
were
این اظهار
here
داشتن که
the
نوع
day
کار مهم
before,
نیست ارزش کار
they all said that
چه میخوای
the
زن
kind of
بشوری
job
چه
is not
میخوای
important,
جراحی
the
کنی
value of it is
این
important.
نوع کاره
Washing
نوع کار
dishes
مهم
or having surgeries,
اخلاق حرفه‌ای ارزش کاری که میتونه برای شما
the
در واقع
professional
ارزشمند
ethics,
باشه
that's
و
what's valuable.
فرمودن که
And
باید با
he
سختی ها
said,
کنار اومد
you have to
ایشون
work
البته
with
فرمودن مشکلات
hardships.
که به نظر من مشکل نیست
We
و
have to
سختیه
fake it till
واسه
we
کنار
make
اومد
it.
تا اینکه موفق بشیم برای موفقیت باید صبور
For
بود و ایشون
success,
خیلی
we have to be
صبورن
persistent.
و ایشون یه چیزی هم داشتن خیلی راحت
And
بزرگان
one other
جامعه
thing,
به
this is
سادگی
how
اعتراف میکنن که
vulnerable
اشتباه
people
کردن
are. They
چون میخوان
easily
راهشون
confess
باز
to their
بشه
mistakes. Because they
نمیخوان
do
به
not
خطا
want to
ادامه بدن
make that
بعد
same
جلوش
mistake
داشته باشن
again.
این میشه
They say,
مقدمه
well, I'm
در واقع
sorry, I made a
موفقیت
mistake.
ایشون در کاراشون همیشه
That,
پیشواز بودن
that is one of
تا
their
بتونن
highest properties.
مهمت خودشون
In
اقدام
his
بکنن.
work, he was always
نباشه
one
از
of the
اقتصاد
forefronts.
در واقع
He wanted
راحتی
to
خانواده‌اش. و اما من یک
pay
خاطره
for
ایشون
his
دارم
own,
به
not
شما عرض کردم که
with the help of his family.
بعضی مدیریت‌ها بچه‌ها اما من خودم بگم
Some
من
management
سال‌های
jobs.
سال
Let me
تدریس
talk
کردم
about
افتخار
myself.
می‌کنم که
I've been
معلمم
teaching for years and
انشالله در
years.
همین مسیر
I'm proud of
معلمیت
that,
بتونم ادامه بدم
and I
حالا
hope I
در زمانی
can
که فرصت
still
باشه
be a
من
teacher.
اجازه داشته باشم کمی صحبت بکنم به شما خواهم گفت که
And if I
فرض
have
خدمت شما
the
نشسته که
opportunity to talk a
دانشجوی
little, I will
معلمیه
talk about that.
80 سالشه
I'm
تا حالا
80
کار
years old. I
نکرده
love teaching.
هر
I
کاری
haven't
کردم
worked
عشق ورزی بوده عشق بازی
a
بوده
day in my
در
life.
نتیجه خسته
All I
نشدم
did was
یکی از
loving.
مهندسین
That's why I
ایران
haven't
بودم
been
کامل
tired in
ساختم
my a day in
و
my life.
انتهاش به شما خواهم گفت که
I will talk
چیکار باید
about
شما
that.
بکنید که
Talk
موفق تر
about
باشید اما
what you have to do
در بحث
to be more
مدیریت کتاب
successful.
ها نوشته
Managing
شده
my books,
بعضی مدیریت
it's all
نانوشته
written
است
down, but some
ما
kinds of
رفتیم ما یه
managements
کاری بازدید
are
رفتیم
not
یه
written
چند
down.
ساعتی از
We
صبح
were
ساعت
supervising
10
somewhere
تا 2 بعد طول کشید
from 10
به
a.m.
اتفاق
to
آقای
2
دکتر
p.m.
رفتاری رفتیم به رستوران رفتاری خیابون فرهنگ
With Mr. Raftari. We
صاحبش
went to
سرمایه دارن مدیریت
Raftari
خوبن
restaurant in
کار پشت
Farhang.
این کارن سوابق
He was
بسیار زیادی
executive
دارن از
manager.
سر
He's very
خورده سال
experienced.
خدمت در واقع طول خانوادگیشون به من به
From this
همراهم
more
گفتن
than
که
100
بخواد
years of
دیگه بشین
experience in their
رستوران
family.
دیگه ما هم نشستیم و
We
خسته بودیم و شام
sat down in
برداشتیم
the
خوردیم
restaurant. We
و
were
خوردن و
tired.
از این صحبت ها جالب اینجاست ایشون
It's
نشسته بود
interesting. He was
مدیر
sitting
سالن
beside
اومد
me.
گفت آقای ببخشید
The
جای
hall
شما
manager
اینجا نیست
came and said, "This is not your
من فکر
place,
کنم مدیره
excuse me."
ایشون ندیده
I thought he
گفتم که ببخشید
hasn't seen
آقای
him.
رفتاری ما دعوت کرد اینجا گفت
I said,
درسته ولی
"Mr.
جای شما
Raftari
اینجا
has invited
رزرو
us,
لطفا بلند شید برید جای دیگه بشینید
but your place is
خب
reserved
اینجا در
somewhere
واقع
else."
خب ما تمکین کردیم
So we did,
اون لحظه من به جهت
but
هوشیاری که
it
داشتم
was
به
that
چهره ایشون
time
نگاه کردم
that I
گفتم
took
پیش
a look
بر
at Mr.
میخوره
Raftari's
دیگه آقا
face to see if
کثافت بکش بره
he's
اونجا نرو
annoyed.
بشینن این کار
Is he
منم
going to
بکنم
say,
گفت
"I'm
چشم
going to sit right
گفتم
here"?
خدا
But he said,
اون
uh,
لحظه رئیس
"All
سالن
right."
اون آقا بود نه
You know
ایشون
why? Because
ایشون
at
از
that
دستش
time, the hall
تبعیت
manager was
گفت
that
بچه بلند شید
specific
برید اونجا
person, not him.
و از در واقع مدیر سالن تشکر کرد
And
مرسی
he
که
did
به ما
actually
تشکر
thank
کنید
the hall manager
اینه
for
میگن مدیریت پنهان
noticing him.
مدیریت
That's
معرفت
the hidden
مدیریت باور
manager,
کسی که همکارته ولی یا
believing in
مسئولیتته
a
در واقع
colleague
ریاست یا
who
مسئولیت
is
کار داره
actually
و یاد بگیریم
managing
که
the
در
job
مدیریت
itself
پنهان
and
انسان
learning
باید
that
یک انسان کامل باشه
hidden
آقای
managing,
رفتاری ممکنه خواهش کنم
you
که
must be a
بند
perfect
نوازی کنید یه
person in
دست
that.
بزنید برشون
Can you please applaud him?
مرسی آقای اردلان من با
Mr.
این جوانان
Ardalan, I
باید
have to
حرف بزنم
do
یا ایشون
something
وقت
about
حال
these guys.
ندارن
Probably
یا
it's
اینکه منو
Friday
دوست
and they're
ندارن
not in the
کدوم
mood,
یکی
or they don't like us.
تکمیل روشن کنید
Well, we need to know.
سوت زدن فکر کنم رو اذهان شما یه اثر خیلی زیادی
You
همین
you
سود
like
همین رفتن
whistling,
تو
don't
هوا
you?
همین رفتن بیرون
Yeah,
اومدن تو
them all.
هی کردن
And the
بچه ها
screamings and yelling
امروز
and stuff.
کارگاه خانوادگی داریم ما
And nowadays we
یکی
have
بستنیم
family
نشستیم
meetings.
و یک پاتوق تفکری
It's true
خانوادی
that you
هستیم
are
که
sitting
از
there,
جاهای
but
متعدد
we are
خانه
a
بزرگ ایران
family
آمدیم
from
هر اندازه
different
اومدیم مهم
places
نیست
in the house
بسیار
of
ما مقدسه
Iran.
مقدسه اینه که اینجا در واقع این ارزش انسانی و ارزش
It's
گفتگو
very
داشته باشیم
important
اگر
to
من به
have
شما
a
بگم
valued
وقتتون از طلا
human
مهمتره
relation.
طلا میشه به دست آورد ولی وقت
When
نمیشه
I say
حالا که
time
از
is more
خانه
valuable
بزرگ
than
ایران
gold,
آمدیم اینجا یاد
I
بگیریم
mean that
که
you can
تعادل
acquire
انرژی
gold,
داشته
you
باشیم
cannot acquire
و
time.
نیازمون رو با نگاهمون یاد بگیریم و برطرف کنیم از این در که میریم بیرون باید یک چیزی اضافه تر از شما
You what you
افزونش
want
کنید
here in
اون
this
چیه
event is
تکامل و تفکر
to learn
متشکرم مرسی
something after you uh,
آقا
get
ممنون
out of these doors, and that is thinking.
خب آقای
Well,
استاد رفتاری عزیز یه
Mr.
نکته دیده
Raftari,
نشده یا کمتر دیده شده
there is
از
a
شما
not seen aspect
کارهای
of you
بجز رستوران رفتاری است
doing
که
things
خیلی هم
other
الحمدلله با
than
لطف خدا و همت
Raftari
خودتون
restaurant
زیاده
chains,
یه مقدار از اینها برامون
which I
بگید
think is
اصلا چی شد که
a
به این
lot.
حوزه های دیگه ورود
Can
کردن
you talk about that?
خاطراتش چطوره
A
چه
few
شکلی پیش
memories, can you
کرده
recite?
چشم قبل از اینکه
Sure.
شروع کنم به گفتن
Before I
خیلی
begin,
صحبت کردن
Mr.
گفتن که
Faroutan has
این
kindly
اتفاقی
already
که
said
برای
that
من افتاد
when I did
من
this,
زمانی
I was already married. When you are married, you have some limitations which your family may not like. But because I had a goal, I made it, I talked it out with my partner that he accepted it. Because when you are single, your life is only yours. You can do anything you like. But having a life partner can change your life. You're not only living for you. He, I just have to use this stage to thank my life partner for
بچه من در طول تمام
accompanying
سالها
me.
بانوی فرخی
Through
جوانی
all these years, I only knew
به غیر
Mr.
ادب
Raftari's
می‌دونم
wife only with respect.
نه به صورت ظاهری
I'm not talking
شکل
about the
ماهیت فرخی
appearance.
خانواده
I'm
به
just
عنوان
saying
ریشه
that it
برمیاد
is obvious
سیاسی
that
موفقیت
the
شورای
core of
هر
the
آدمایی که در
family
این
has a
سرزمین
value.
همه کره خاکی
But
موفقیت
anyone,
یک پشتیبانی دارن
everyone
که
who
خانواده است
did
اندیشه
make it,
خانواده است و سرپیکار خانواده
the
بانوان
success comes from their
برتر است
family, the core of the family.
این اتفاقی که شما
To answer your question,
برندهای خانوادگی
it's really important in family brands. Something happens when sometimes becomes the flag bearer of the brand. By then, I bought the brand from my uncle and my father, but the other members of the family think you had a horse from the beginning, and now you're showing it off. You're showing it off to the other members. But I wanted to prove that when you decide to do something, you have to be successful. I went in other industries and I started working. The first thing I did, I went on a vacation on China. When I came back, I formed connections with people who invited me to Russia. I went to Russia and they took me and they showed me a few companies and factories. Meanwhile, let me go back a little. I went to Russia, but when I wanted to come back, they wouldn't let me come back. I had an Iran air ticket. I wanted to come back with air food. The flight companies must cover for themselves if they have a contract. I couldn't make the Russian woman understand whatever I said in English. I asked help for someone to translate. She asked for her husband came and translated what I said into Russian, that the two companies must be able to cover for themselves. He explained and I boarded the flight. Well, they were 9. They were invited by the president. They were bringing technology into Iran. We boarded the plane and we arrived in Iran. They said, "What do you do?" I said, "I have a restaurant." I invited them to my restaurant. They said, "How?" I said, "Just take a cab and tell them you're going to Raftari restaurant." I asked if the presidency office had sent anyone for them. I looked around and there was no one. So, because I have that feeling of responsibility for Iranian honor, I knew the head supervisor because, well, before I used to go to Korea, we had a clothing factory. I brought clothing from Dubai. I said, "They are my guests. Please They passed them through quickly. It was Monday or Thursday. I went them in. Well, the presidency didn't come, and I passed them through. 2 days later, I saw them with a taxi cab. I invited them in, and they invited me to Russia. Well, they had a few technologies brought in Iran. We asked whether if I wanted a few of these technologies. I said no, it's not related to me. They invited me to Russia. There we got acquainted with other countries. Joint merger as a branch in Qeshm. We manufactured refrigerators. From there, we started our industrial works. That is the largest factory with that technology all around the world. We had 35,000 refrigerators for Iran Khodro. We continued, and these water coolers you see in metros, we used to make with metro electronic systems. I got a proposition for a project. They wanted to make refrigerators for Mir space station. Using their technology and merging together, we managed to make our refrigerators with their help. We produced that and sold that, and that news was all over the media, and people said anything they loved about us. There are a lot of big things happening that people don't know about, and our own youth, our own talents can do that. But a lot of companies, a lot of foreign organizations, with the help of specific technologies, can only achieve things joining with Iranian companies. We never could do certain things because of the sanction. Stuff that happened, our youth goes abroad. How many people do we have in Apple, in NASA? They profit from them, not us. With the technologies that we had, we did all these. So that's how we made those refrigerators for NASA. So that's how you made that first refrigerator for the space station. Yes, that was a joint merger, and the factory was in Qeshm. We assembled and set it up. Shouldn't you really applaud all this effort and Iran's industry? So, dear teacher, do you have anything to add? After this refrigerator, we did something similar for the telecommunication organization. When we took our technology and we talked about the mobile challenges, we said, well, go make the connects. I said, I just brought you a high technology. You're asking for a connex? That's why the things we did for telecommunication organization, we put that in our library and it's not going into any use. They had to import it tenfold. Do you think there is a technology that we can never achieve? Be sure Iranian young people can do whatever they want, if only they believe themselves and their country. That's all. Mr. Teacher. Sorry if I use the word guys, it's just because I have the viewpoint of a teacher. When I have the opportunity, I will talk about that.
یا به
It's
خاطر
good that you
بنویسید ثبت
listen,
کنید یا به
but
تحلیل
either
ببرید که
write it
فهمیدن
down on your mind
اینا
or write it down on a piece of
سازندگان
paper to not
تفکر آینده شما
forget.
هستن.
They are
در جمله‌ای
making
که
your
به
future.
آقای نادری فرمودن
What Mr.
من
Naderi,
خواهی هستم در
I'm
خدمت
Mr. Raftari at your
امروز
service.
دلت میخواد ما رو نادری صدا کنی.
Why do you
نه
want to
من
call me
من
Naderi
گوشی
today?
نادری افتادم آقا تو
I remember
شیرینی
Naderi cookies. You are also sweet.
بله آقای نادری
Thank you.
ببخشید
Mr. Sorry, Miss.
تو فکر رفیقی
What
چلچه
kind of a friend
مرغداری
are you if
منظور با
you
کروسی
won't
چه
give me
فرقی
chulo
میکنه
kebab?
آدرت کم شده دیگه رفته
Yeah,
دیگه
you like chulo kebab right
اگر
now that
میدادی
you
من
call
یه
me
گفتم
Naderi.
میگم که چون
If you said,
نادری بهم چلو
I
کباب
would
داده
say
بودن من
because
گفتم که
he
نادری
gave
حالا به
me
شما
chulo
میگم
kebab, I
میگم
said
که
Naderi.
نادری بچه ها ایشون یه جمله گفتن گفتن
Guys,
که کار رو
he said
اول باید به خودم
that
ثابت بکنم
first I have
یه
to
خودم باید
make
باور بکنم
myself
برای
believe
خودم
in my
ایجاد
own.
بشه اگر شد میشه
If
مقوله
I
اندیشه
do,
من و برای پیشرفتش دیگه حالا
I will believe in
مسیر رو
that
پیدا
and
میکنم و
I
پیامش رو
can
پیدا میکنم
find a path to
همین که آقای
success, to
رفتاری
development.
آقای
And
نادری
that's
ببخشید
why
آقای
Mr.
رفتاری
Raftori, not Naderi,
جمعه است عادی است و بعد همین
today is a
رفته
Friday.
یک جمله دارم من دیروزم تکرار
I've
کردم
already
این نوع
said the
آدم ها
sentence yesterday.
که به عنوان
His
یک
kind
نقطه
of
فرض
people
میشن
that are sometimes
خدا
considered a
باشه
dot.
نقطه آغاز خطه اینا
Dot
نقطه رو
is the
میبینن
beginning of a line. They
خط رو
see
ادامه
the
میدن
dot
و
and they
خط
continue the
کسانی که
line.
اندیشمندن و تلاشگرن و
And the line
باادبن
of
و
those who are
دانشمندن و افرادی
who are
قابلیت
wise
تفکر مثبت اجتماعی دارن
and are thoughtful,
این
are
باور دارن
positive for the
که
community.
میتوانن
They
خطوط
believe
بسیاری رسم
that
بکنن
they
چرا
can
که
draw
خط برای
many
انسان
other
سازه
lines
و
because
ایشون
line is
تونستن با
it's
عنایتی که
lines
پیدا
that
کردن با
make
این
our lives.
مهربانی اون تکنولوژی رو به
And with
یاد
their
بیارن و
kindness,
بتونن با اون تکنولوژی
he
توسط
brought
ارتباط
the
روابط
technology into
اجتماعی
Iran,
انسانی
and with
کارم
his
بکنن چون شما
networks,
میگم روزها
his
بسیار
emotional and
آدمای
human
خشنی هن.
networks.
بسیار
Because
سفت و
let me tell
سختن
you,
ولی
he
در
is
واقع
very
مهربانی
strict,
بسیار نرمن
but not
و
with
تونستن که با
kindness.
آقای دکتر
And Mr.
نادری
Naderi,
آقای
Mr.
رفتاری
Raftori
اومد
managed to
ایشون
bring
به
this
ایران بیاد و
technology
بتوانن در
into
واقع
Iran
فن و تکنولوژی در ایران به اثبات
and
بذارن چرا که
develop that
دوستی در هر کجا
in our
باشه
country
یک
because
رنگه
friendship
فرد باشه
is
در چه
the
نژادی
same color
و
anywhere
در چه
anywhere
فرهنگی
it is.
باشی
It doesn't
دوستی
matter
اون
in
مهدی که
which
با همه
race
انسان نهفته شده و
or in
جناب
what
اکبر
place
رفتاری
it
تونستن
is.
با این دوستی و
And
گذشت
Mr.
برای
Raftari
ایران سرنوشت
managed to
بخوان
use this
متشکرم آقای
friendship and
رفتاری
networking
دست بوسش
to
کن.
help our
آماده
country.
خب آقای رفتاری عزیز شما یک تجربه
Well,
های
Mr.
بسیار
Raftari,
متمایزی داشتید
you
در
have
همکاری با
some
شرکت های خارجی
very
همین
special
روزها که فهمیدیم یا با
experiences
آلمان ها اون
with foreign
برنامه واکا کروز و
companies.
در و پنجره
As you
سازی
said,
هایی
with
که
Vaca
تونستیم اونها
Cruz,
و قصه العاضا که
PVC
شما
windows,
کردید
and these Russian
تجربتون
guys
از این
that you talk about.
تعامل خارجی چی بوده حالا همونطور که
What
خودتونم
have you
فرمودید
learned
بالاخره تحریم ها
learned
موثره
from
همون
this
از نقطه ای که شما شروع کنید
experience?
تا هر کسب و کار
From the
دیگری
point
شما
that you
از نقطه
wanted
ای
to
که رسید
start,
بالاخره یه تحریمی
and
وجود
there
داشته و
was
باید با
some
اون مقابله کرد
sanctions,
حالا
and
اینکه
you had to
تعامل با
face
این
that,
نفرات خارجی
and all these
تجربیاتتون خاطرات رو میشه
relations and
بفرمایید
communication with these
ببینید ما
foreign people.
زمانی
What
که
is your experience?
کارهای کارخونه های
Uh,
واکا کروز رو در ایران میخواستیم
when we
بزنیم
did, when we wanted
زمانی
to
بود
set up
که
Vaca Cruz in
داشت
Iran,
تکنولوژی
it was
دنیا
when
یعنی
a
دنیا به
foreign
سمت پیشرفت
technology,
بود
well,
در ایران
the
هنوز
world
به
was
سمت
going in a
پیشرفت و
direction
فرهنگش
that
جا
Iran
نیفتاده بود.
hasn't gone there, hasn't
من یه چیزی
reached
بهش
there
اعتقاد
yet.
دارم نفر اول
I
بودن
believe
عقده
that
نیست.
being the first
سبک
one
زندگی که شما دوست
is a
داری نفر
lifestyle,
اول باشی
that you
درست
always
مثل
want to
لباس.
be the first person.
در رابطه با اون در و پنجره
About that
چند بار دیدم من فکر
UPVC
میکنم سال
doors and windows,
48
I think it was
49 بود که
1342
صنعت در و
9
پنجره
Shamsi
آهنی
that
به
uh,
آلومینیوم چیکار کرده
iron
انتقال پیدا کرده.
windows were
در اون
shifted
زمانی که
to
ما اومدیم شروع کنیم
aluminium.
صنعت
When
آلومینیوم
we
داشت به
started,
PVC جهت
the
توسعه
aluminium
انرژی
industry was
و
changing into PVC
توسعه پایدار
to
پیش میرفت.
save energy
ما
and
تصمیم
consistent
گرفتیم که
development.
کارخونه در و پنجره
We
PVC
decided
از
to
صفر تا صد رو در ایران بزنیم.
set up a
یه هولوش
PVC
یک
factory from
سالی
beginning to the end.
پروفیل
It
وارد
took around
کردیم و
1 year to import profile and make
داشتیم بستر
the
شناسی
windows and
میکردیم
doors.
که
We
بیایم
were trying to
کل کارخونه رو
set up the
بزنیم
infrastructures
و
to do the whole factory
چون اعتقاد من اینه که ما هر بیزنسی
because
که
I
شروع
believe
کردیم
that when you
سعی
start a
کردیم
business,
با کمال پررویی
we
از اون
try
طرف خارجی بخوایم
with
که
the most amount
تکنولوژی رو
of
بیاره داخل ایران
cheekiness ask the foreign
جایی هم
party
که
to bring
نیومده
in the foreign
مطمئنا
technology.
قیچیش
And
کردیم
where they
نذاشتیم خیلی
didn't,
دیگه کار کنه
we
در رابطه با در پنجره
seriously
پی وی
didn't
سی
let him work in
ما
Iran
وقتی
anymore. About
در پنجره رو
PVC
وارد
doors and
میکردیم
windows, when we imported
رقم خیلی
the doors and
سنگینی
windows,
ماهی $1,000,000
we
فقط
invested a lot of
پروفیل
money
وارد میکردیم و در پنجره
on
تولید
profile,
میکردیم
around $1 million
همزمان
per
در
month.
شهرک حسن آباد قم
And at the
داشتیم
same
کارخونهمون
time,
رو
in
میساختیم
Hassanabad, in
کارخونه
Qom,
ای
we
که
were building our factory,
اکسترود هم انجام بدیم به عنوان
a
اولین شرکتی که
factory
در
to
ایران
do
0
extrude
تا 100 این کار رو انجام میداد
as a factory that did
آلمانی ها
from
میمدن بازدید
beginning to the
میکردن
end of
میگفتن آخه
this
شما
job.
میخواین مونتاژ
The
کنین
Germans
کارخونه
visited us
بزرگی
and
میخواین
asked,
چیکار
if you are going
اونا
to assemble,
نمیدونستن
why
که
do
ما
you need
میخوایم
this
اکسترود
bigger
کنیم
company? They
میخوایم
didn't know
همون
we
کاری
were
که در
trying to
آلمان
extrude,
رقم میخوره این
to
کارو
do the
بکنیم
same thing that is
کاراش
happening
انجام
in
دادیم شروع
Germany.
کردیم تو درست
We did
کردیم و
the
اینها
works
کارخونه که
and we
تموم
made
شد
it. When it was
رفتیم
over,
آلمان
we went to Germany
خدمت همون شرکتی که
to the
پروفیلش رو ازش
company
میخریدیم
from whom we bought
شرکت
Profile,
وکا
a VK
پیش
company.
مدیر عاملش رفتیم آقای
We went to
هدول
the
بود
CEO,
اسمش
Mr.
گفتیم
Hudol.
اومدیم باهات یه
We said we are here
توافقی
for a
کنیم گفت
contract.
چیکار کنیم
We
گفتم
said
که
what to do.
اومدیم
I
50%
said
کارخونه رو
we
بهت
want
ارائه
50, we will
کنیم
give you
برندت بیاری تو
50% of the
ایران
factory for you
و
to bring in
تکنولوژی
your
تو
brand and your
گفت یه چیزی بهت
technology.
بگم بودم
He
چیه
said, can I
خیلی
tell you
معذرت
something?
میخوام گفت من خانم از
Sorry,
ایرانیا به هم
but
میخوره
I hate Iranians.
تا اینو گفت کلید ما خورد
He said that
بهش
and
یه چیزی که در
we
شأنش بود
dumped him
یه
at the moment.
کلمه رکیکی
I
واسش استفاده
said
کردم
a
گفتم
curse
که تو
word
وقتی
of which I'm not
$1,000,000 از ما
proud.
میگیری
I said,
ناراحت نیستی
how is it
الان که
that
میخوای
you are not
بیای گفتم نه
sorry when you
نمایشگاه
take $1 million
نمایشگاه
from
بین
us,
المللی
but now you're
وقت داری
sorry?
فکر کنی راجع به این مسئله
I said, you can think about
دعوت
that
نهار کرد
till
نبودیم
the
اومدیم بیرون
international
با اون شهید
exhibition.
عزیزم تصمیم
We went
گرفتیم
out
همون
and we
رفتیم
decided with
پاریس
my partner to
رفتیم
go
که
to
اسمش
England.
اینا وکا بود ما
That
وکا رو
company
ثبت
was
کردیم
called Veka. We
وکا رو
registered the
ثبت
company
کردیم و
Veka.
اومدیم و در
So we
آلمان هم
came
اسم
back, and
شرکتمون کرویتس بود
in Germany our company was called
اومدیم
Kreutz.
بلا فاصله ایران چون ما همه
Immediately
این
in
کار رو
Iran,
کرده بودیم خط رو خریده
we had
بودیم
done all
دقیقا
this.
هر چی تو
We
کارخونه اون بود ما
had
خریده
bought the
بودیم
line.
فقط میخواستیم این بیاد
We had
چیکار
bought
کنه
all the
برند
things in
بیاره
our company. We
و
only wanted him
تکنولوژی رو
to
که
bring
سرعت رو
in
ببریم
the
بالا
brand
این که
and
اینو گفت
technology
ما
to speed
موتورمون
it up.
روشن شد
Once he
اسوریتمون
said that,
شکست رفتیم و هم
we were
تکنولوژی رو
kind of
خریدیم
angry.
هم
We
دادیم
bought the
قالبامون رو
technology and
انحصارا به
asked
شرکت
for
خودمون ساختن
customized templates.
و برگشتیم ایران
And we
تو
then
نمایشگاه بین
we
المللی
came
هم
back to
همیشه جلو
Iran
در
in the
ورود
international
1200 متر فضا
exhibition.
میگرفتیم و
We always
شوروممون بود
reserve some space
کاری
for
که
ourselves.
کردیم
What we
خیلی
did
چرا خاموش هر چی خریدیم
very
برندمون
secretly,
آبی
but our
بود
brand
برند
was
پنجره اصلاح
blue, called
سوم
window
مکاکرویتس
of
قرمز بود
the third millennium.
هر آنچه که
Cockroach was
داشتیم
red.
دو
Whatever we had
دو
there,
سری چاپ کردیم هم
we
قرمز
printed two
هم
of them,
آبی هم به این
red
برند
and
هم به
blue.
این برند شرکت وکا هم همیشه 100 متر
Vaka
فضا میگرفت
also
بغل دست
always reserved
کجا
uh,
همین جایی که ما بودیم
100 meters of space just
روز
uh,
قبل از افتتاحیه این
next to
نمایشگاه
us. The day
کمیته
before
با 200
the
نفر اینجا
exhibition,
داشتیم میساختیم برای 3 روز که بخوان
we had
نمایشگاه
200
برگزار بشه
people to
آقای
make the space.
حدول تشریف آوردن
Mr.
خدمت
Hodol
نمایشگاه بهش گفتم چطوری
came
خوبی؟
in.
گفت
I
آره
said,
خوبم
how are
گفتم
you?
تصمیم گرفتی چی شد؟
I said, did you
نه
decide? He said,
گفتم
no, not
اوکی
really. I said, okay.
نمایشگاه اون روز
The
که باید
exhibition
فردا
was
افتتاح
supposed to
میشد اومده
start
بودیم بازدیدی کنیم
tomorrow.
به
We were just
حراست
visiting.
نمایشگاه که خیلی محبتم داشتم
I
به
asked
حراست
the
سالن گفتم من
security
ازت
of the
خواهش میکنم
hall
همه که رفتن
for
ما نیم
to
ساعت
let us
اینجا کار
stay
میکنیم
here
گفت این
for
حرفا چیه
half
ما
an
در
hour.
خدمتیم و همه که
He said,
رفتن
at your
هر کجای
service.
آبی بود
When
اومد
everyone went
پایین
out,
شد وکاکرویس.
we changed everything blue into Vakakrois.
بچه هم گفتم بچه ها فردا قرمزا رو بپوشید.
I told everyone to wear the red ones. We
فردا
changed all the
افتتاحیه.
catalogs.
قبل از اینکه وزیر بیاد در باز کردن.
Before the minister came,
آقای
they
عدول اومد،
opened
جلوی
the
در
door. Mr. Odol came.
نمایشگاه ورودی سالن سکته کرد.
Well, he saw that and
زنگ
had a
زدن.
stroke.
اورژانس اومد، روزنامه
They
همشهری
called
نوشته.
emergency
خواستن بزنن
services.
که
It was in
یه سری
Hamshari
سودجو از
newspaper.
برند ما سوء استفاده
Quickly,
کردن
they
و
published
کلاه
that a few
بردارن.
profiteers
ما هم نمایشگاه
are
رو
cheating and
گذروندیم،
using our
زحمت
brand.
کشیدن، رفتن شکایت کردن و
They went all
به
the
ما گفتن
way to
حق ندارید از این
even
برند استفاده کنید.
legislate, and they told us you
بلافاصله
cannot
دو مرتبه
use this
موتورمون
brand.
روشن شد. 15
Again,
روز رفتیم تو کارخونه شبانه روزی
we
خوابیدیم.
went and slept in the factory for
اکستروژن رو روشن
15
کردیم،
days.
پروفیل رو آوردیم بیرون.
We turned on our
بردیم
factory
وزارت
and
سهم،
we
بردن
got
مجلس
20
به عنوان
centimeters of
تحویل ملی.
ECV,
گمرکمون شد 55%.
and it was
از
known
5%.
as
چیکار
a
کردیم؟
national product.
رفتیم پیش
Their
گفتیم
customs
که
were
ببین
increased from
شما
5% to
مهمان کشور
55%.
ما هستید. ما
I said,
مالکیم. من
you
بگم
are
پس شما نباید واسه
guests
ما
in this
تعهد
country.
کنید.
We are the owners. You cannot order us
چی
around
شد؟
here.
رفت از
He sued us in
شرکت
Germany
آلمانمون شکایت کردیشون.
because he couldn't
وقتی
sell anymore in Iran because he had
گمرکش بیشتر شد، دیگه
55%
قیمتش
worth
قابل
of customs.
رقابت نبود.
He couldn't compete in Iran.
ممنون. مرسی.
Thank you.
رفت از شرکت آلمانمون شکایت کرد.
We sued our company in Germany that we were abusing the brand, but we had all the documentation and our templates. We took all that into Germany and we beat him in Germany. I told him, you cannot work in Iran anymore. He said, why? I said, because I'm just me, but 27 other countries with a very high price, a very high investment, are working for Iran's extrude. You cannot work in Iran. He said, we'll see. We had 5 containers of his products. We dumped them below China's UPC. And they have been gone from Iran for 17 or 18 years. Our Iranian nationalism sense is a bit too much.
آقا یه دو تا نکته شما توی این کلامتون بود، گفتین که اون اول که
I
رفتین
got
پیشش
2 notes
گفتین که یه حرف ناشایسته
from what he said.
شما گفتین
You said when he said something not worthy of you, he hit your button, he pushed the button. My question is, how many times has your button been pushed? Many times, because I think if you roll with everything, you cannot work in this country, because we have so many challenges, so many common problems, and you must always be ready for your buttons to be pushed. And when I decided to stand on my own, any way I can, I will try to get to the top. No matter who will get annoyed, your goal is important. Because when you come through this path, a lot of your friends or family might get annoyed because of that. And when you reach the apex, a lot of those will profit, but they will not thank you.
خب استاد شما نکته‌ای دارین؟
Well, dear teacher, do you have any notes? Well, he said that being first is a way of life. It's a will. And you need to think to keep that state. I may be able to become the first, but I cannot become a champion, because championship is an ability, a good trait. Congratulations. I think that person who whistled saved everyone else.
من یه خورده دیگه اینجوری
You
رفتار
keep
کنید
doing that and I will go.
این شما این آقای رفتاری.
You stay with Mr. Raftari.
مرسی. گاهی اوقات وقتی با اندیشه درست عمل بکنید
Sometimes if
بعضی
you
از
act
تحقیرها
with
که انسان رو
wisdom,
تحقیر میکنن باعث
some
پیشرفت
changes
و
will make you
تحقیر
develop.
اون فرد
And that
غیر
change
فرهنگی نمیخوام بگم که
that
مال
the
کدوم
uncultured
کشور.
person,
هر کشوری میتونه آدم خوب و بد
I
داشته
don't
باشه.
want to talk about the country.
غیر
Any
فرهنگی در
country
اون
might
انجام
have
دادن باعث شد که
good or bad
آقای
people,
رفتاری چنین بکنن
but
که چنان
that
شد.
act of
آقای رفتاری
that
در
uncivilized
پرسش‌هاشون
act made
در
Mr.
هدفشون
Raftari
نتیجه بخشی به دست
respond as he
آوردن
did.
چون که باور داشتن
Mr.
که
Raftari
اندیششون درسته
profited
و
from
برای
his
اندیشه
wisdom
درست باید تلاش
because he
بکنن
knew
تا
and he
شکار شما باعث
believed that
موفقیتشون
his
شد.
thought
متشکرم آقای رفتاری.
was correct.
قربونتون برم.
Thank you.
آقا معلم ممنون.
آقا مثل ما
Thank
یه
you,
بار
dear
برداریم.
teacher.
بابا این سالن
We have only one whistler in this hall. It must be full of them.
نه زیاد نه.
آها
آقا یکی اون ته نشسته
There's
تخصصی
someone
سوت
at the
بلده.
back who
بچه‌ها،
professionally
عرض کردم
whistles.
امروز میخوام خوش بزنیم.
As I said before, we want to have fun today,
گفتار فهیم ارزشمند
along with
با تجربه پرسابقه که
the
جامعه
valuable
نیازمند به اونه
discussions we have
مهربانی
with
و لطف
our
و
guests.
صمیمیت و دوستی رو
Please
فراموش
do not
نکنیم.
forget
چرا
to be
که
kind
این
and
دوستی‌ها همیشه به
don't
دست میاد.
forget
در
friendships
کتاب همه چی
because
نوشته
you can
شده.
earn
ولی
anything
کتاب
from
نانوشته
those
ها
relations.
انسان رو میسازه. توصیه
That
می‌کنم
is what's
کتاب
written
نانوشته
in
ها
the book,
بیشتر
but
دقت
the
کنید. مدیریت
book of
نانوشته
unwritten
موفق‌تره.
is
مرسی.
what makes you
خب
succeed.
آقای رفتاری خیلی از من میدونم
Mr. Raftari,
که در واقع ما تا الان
I know
15 تا در این 15مین رویداد
because we
شامل
had
مخاطبین
15
ما
events
خیلی هاشون خودشون
at
کسب و کار
Charmer.
دارن، یعنی صاحبین کسب و
Our
کاری هستن که میان از
customers,
شما
our
دوستان
users
بقیه
have
عزیزانی که اینجا
businesses of
میان
their
یاد
own.
بگیرن. یکی از
They come here
سوالاتی
to
که
learn
خیلی
from
مطرح
you.
میشه اینه که
A
در
question we
مواجهه با
might
طرف
ask ourselves
خارجی برای
is
صادرات محصول
with
ما چه
foreign
قواعدی رو
parties
باید
for
رعایت کنیم؟
exporting
باید مراقب چیا
goods.
باشیم؟ چه
What
تجربه‌ای شما دارید
notes
که
shall
انتقادی
we take into
بهروز امروز؟
account? What's your
عرضم
experience?
به خدمت شما زمان آقای خاتمی
Uh,
یه گروهی
when
رو به
Khatami
وجود
was
آوردن
president,
ونزوئلا
I had a
و
party.
قرار
Uh,
بود این گروه
we went
270
to
نفر بودن
uh,
270 شرکت بودن
Venezuela.
که در ونزوئلا داشتن
270 companies we were, and
زمانی
that
خوبی
was a
برای
very good
عزیزانی که
time
دلشون میخواست
for
صادرات
those
انجام
who wanted
بدن
to export
اونجا
to
کار رو ببرن
Venezuela.
جلو. این تجربه‌ای که من اونجا داشتم و واسم خیلی
That's
سنگین بود
an
ولی
experience I
مجموعه
had there, and
قوای که
and
در
it
اون بودن
costs me a
کارمون
lot.
رو انجام دادیم.
That's
ما
another
وقتی
time
میخوایم
which my
صادرات کنیم
keys
فکر
were
میکنیم
pushed.
طرف
When we
مقابل
want to
احمقه.
export, we always think that the other party
نمیخوایم
is
باور کنیم
stupid.
که
We do
اونا
not want
تو
to
یه سری
believe
چیزا
that
از ما
they
هوشمندترن
may be
که
more smarter than
تجربه‌هاشون
us
بهتره.
in some
ما
aspects.
هنوز
They
تو اون
may have,
سنتیه قفلیم.
they may be better
یعنی تمام
experienced.
شرکتایی که
You're
صادرات
always,
انجام میدن
most of
و
us are more
تخصصی انجام
traditional.
میدن درصد
Most country
موفقیتشون
companies
خیلی بیشتره.
who are
یه اتفاقی
exporting
دیگه هم که
and are
میفته
doing that
ما ضریب
professionally,
شرافت رو
they are
در کارا و
more successful than
بیزنسامون
us. And the
متاسفانه
other
خیلی
thing is,
رعایت
we
نمیکنیم.
are not
یه چیزی
really
میگیم
that
یه
honorable
چیز
in our
دیگه عمل
business.
میکنیم.
We say
ما رفته
something,
بودیم
we do
ونزوئلا
something else. We went to
و
Venezuela and
قرار بود 100 دستگاه
we were supposed to
تزریق پلاستیک
sell
و
100
100
plastic
دستگاه
injection
بالون
machine
پلاستیک
and 500
بفروشیم به
plastic templates
ونزوئلا.
to
یه
Venezuelan
شرکت رقیب
importers.
دیگه هم در اونجا
We had
داشتیم
another
از شرکت
competition.
ایرانی عزیز
It was
که
Iranian again.
ببین وقتی شما یه بازاری واسه مملکت باز میشه
When you have a
من
market
صادر کننده
opened up
نباید اون
for your
بازار
country,
رو برای
you,
منافع
the
خودم
exporter,
خراب کنم و این
cannot
پول و این
destroy that
ارتباط رو
market,
برای
that
دیگران نابود کنم.
communication
ما
bridge.
قیمت
You
داده بودیم
cannot
3,200,000
annihilate that bridge.
اون
Our
عزیزمون
price was
شرکت
$3
ایرانی
million.
همکارمون
The other
همون دستگاه
company
رو
sold the same
13.5
device
میلیون دلار قیمت
13
بود. همون
and a half million. And Chavez had ordered to only buy from Iranians. It was a contract between the two governments, and Chavez, because we had the same viewpoint with each other, he would buy even more expensive devices from Iran. And that was a bridge for Iranian exporters to have a market like that. Our price, one of the governmental people called me and said, Azar Raftari, isn't it better for you to sell your kebabs in Iran? Well, I said respectively that if we didn't succeed here, we will go back to Iran and sell our kebabs. If you did, well, we will go sell our kebabs. But if we sell, we will invite you to come to our restaurant and learn how to serve kebab instead of the post you have, which is helping private sectors. And what we did, the only contract Chavez signed was with me because I explained the whole process. And with the honor sector that I never trespass on, I sold my products and took my money and came back to Iran. Don't think that you can use someone's ignorance, because someday he will not be ignorant anymore. I mean to say, if a market is open for our country, which has so many problems, please do not ruin that market. Don't make it like Russia. And my friends ordered noodles, they got spaghetti, they ordered spaghetti, they got noodles. And this all goes back to losing the market. And as we do, our industrialists, our manufacturers get in problems. A lot of these are not because of sanctions, it's our own honor. The honor is very important in business. If we hadn't had that, Philip Kepler had an event. It was the biggest yearly Philip Kepler event. I'm saying that out of honor. I was the only lecturer from Iran. It had lecturers from 160 countries, 48 hours online. I was honored to be, as an Iranian, show them what persistent means, to show them that they can, in a country that we have complete sanctions against us for 46 years, I guess. In Europe, people could not eat bread, couldn't have bread during the Russia-Ukraine war. It has been more than 40 years after the revolution. Until now, it has been around 41,000 days and more that we haven't closed our restaurant. That persistence kept us. How many years? 116 years. Congratulations. All kinds of activities concerning restaurants, I'm talking about industries, all around the country, older than 100 years, is only 17. And that's really low, because we only think about ourselves, about the moment. But if we think about the family and see the family in the manufacture, They can be the flag bearers
فعالیت‌های خانوادگی در
of
گروه بیش از 100
family
سال.
success
بازم به شما
in
بهتر
more
می‌گیم.
than 100 years worth of work and profession.
خب آقای
Well,
رفتاری، آقا
Mr.
کاش
Raftari,
کلیدی که شما دارین ما رو هم داشتیم، یعنی
I
کاش
wish
قابل
we
توصیه
had
بود،
that
کاش قابل
key
پسری دادن بود به
because
آدمای
others could acquire that
اینو
key
همه
too.
دارن، باید
Everyone
ازش
has that.
استفاده کنن.
You just have to
اون
use it.
تاباوریه،
The persistence,
سنگ زیر
the
ناسیاب بودن،
tolerance,
کوچیک همه بودن،
modesty,
عشق
being
ورزیدن،
loving.
همه انسان ها
These are
داره.
the traits that
بعد فقط
everyone
تو
have.
خودشون پرورشش بدن،
You only need to
این
develop it within
به
yourself
اعلا برسه.
and
در واقع
perfect these
کلید
traits.
ترکیبی از تاباوری،
Actually,
صبر کردن و عشق
this key
ورزیدن.
is
عشق
a
ورزیدن.
mixture of
عاشق باشی
persistent
همه برات
tolerance and
بهترینن.
care.
هیچ وقت نمیخوای انتقام از
If
کسی
you
بگیری،
love,
کسی بهت
everyone is
نمیکنه.
uh, the best of themselves
آقا
for you. You never
سوال
want
آخر ماست و
vengeance.
بعد در
This is my
خدمت
last
آقای
question.
دوستان
محمدی
هست.
سلام علیکم.
سلام استاد،
Mr.
خوش
Khanmohammadi,
آمدید.
greetings.
ارادت داریم. سلامت
Welcome.
باشین انشالله. خب من
Well,
سوال آخرم رو بپرسم،
my
بعد
last
فکر کنم
question,
2 تا 3 تا سوال رو از
I think
دوستان حاضر در
after
سالن
which
هم میتونیم در خدمتشون
the
باشیم و
audience
جواب
can
بدیم.
ask 2 or 3
یه
questions.
خصوصیتی که هم در رفتار و
One
کسب و کار
trait
شما هست، هم در
that we
بقیه
can see in
اساتیدی
your
مثل شما، اینه
behavior
که
and
از یک
profession
حوزه‌ای شروع میکنن،
is
حالا اون
that
حوزه
you
ممکنه حوزه
begin from
خانوادگیشون
one
باشه یا
aspect,
نباشه،
it can
و
be
بعد
a
از یه بازه
professional
زمانی
job
وارد
or
حوزه
not,
های دیگر
and
میشید که
after
هیچ
which
ربطی به اون حوزه قبلی نداره.
they
یعنی
start in
همونطوری که الان
other
شما برای ما
areas
روایت کردید، از
than
چلو
which
کبابی رفتید
they
یخچال
cannot relate in any
خاصی
way.
ساختید، بعد رفتید یو پی وی سی. چرا
Like
اصلا این
you
اتفاق میفته؟
started
یعنی
from
چطور در
a
واقع این
restaurant
استراتژی
and then
رشد شما
you
چطوری
went off
تحلیل
into
میشه؟
making
ببین
refrigerators.
برمیگرده به اینکه چقدر
So
شما
this goes
دلنگران
back
جوانای
to
مملکتت
how
یا
much you
مملکتتی.
care about
من زمانی
the
که رفتم
youth.
دنبال پی وی سی
When I
برای
went
چی
after
رفتم؟ چون
PVC,
نیاز
why did I do
مملکت
that?
بود
Because
و
I saw that
دلنگران این
my
بودم
country needed it. I
که
worried
نیاز
about
رو
it.
باید به هر حال یکی
I
انجام بده
wanted to
دیگه.
answer
اگه من
this
خودم
need.
بکشم کنار،
Someone has to do it.
این جسارتی که من
If I
کردم
stand
رفتم این کار رو شروع
back,
کردم
the
باعث شد
persistence I
20
had,
تا دیگه 30 تا دیگه شرکت برن.
it made
امروز
20 or 30
1200
other
ما
countries.
شرکت در پنجره پی وی سی
Today we
داریم.
have
یکی باید بپره دیگه،
1250
یکی دیگه
other
باید
companies
بپره
in this area.
راه
One
باز
has to
سپرده
take the
باز
jump
کنه. اونی که اول
and open
میپره
the
مطمئن
path.
باش
The one who
دلنگرانی
leaps
مملکت داره
first,
که میپره، وگرنه شما
be assured
این
that
سرمایه‌ای که
he
توی
or she
مملکت
is
چه وقتی
worried for
چه
our country.
مالی
The
حرفت
generosity
میذارن
our
هر کجای
people
این
have,
دنیا بذارن،
if they had it
دنیای
anywhere else
دیگرشونو
in the world,
مجسمه‌شون می‌ذارن تو ورودی شهر.
we would see
حالا
statues
اینجا
of
نمی‌سازن
them
دستشون درد
all
نکنه،
around the city.
ولی ما به هر حال واسه مردممون باید بکنیم.
But we have to
خانم
do
و
that for
آقایان،
our
نادر
people.
رفتاری رو تشویق کنید لطفاً.
Ladies
بعدش
and
مرسی.
gentlemen, please applaud Nader Raftari.
خب ما 2 تا سوال
Well, we
میتونیم
can
از
have
محضر دوستان هم
the
باشیم در
audience ask
خدمتشون.
2
من قبل
questions
از اینه که بچه‌ها سوال
before
کنن دو
others
تا
ask their questions.
خواهش میکنم.
I have
کلید واژه‌ای که شاید خیلی هم
two
جذاب نباشه
keywords
ولی
which may not be that
یه
attractive, but
واقعیته.
it's a reality.
عزیزانی که میخوان دنبال کسب و کار
Those who
خانوادگیشون برن
want to
و
follow a family
برند
professions
خانوادگیشون رو
and
ادامه
have their
بدن،
own family brand,
حتما یه تعیین تکلیف
they
با
must
خودشون و
have a talk
خانوادهشون
with
کامل،
themselves and their
یعنی نه
family. They have to
غریبه،
do it
100
perfectly.
پله غریبه تر
They have
انجام
to
بدن.
do it
چرا؟ یه
professionally
وقت هست شما میای
because
یه بیزنسی که داره کار میکنه
sometimes uh,
موفقم هست،
there is a
میای
successful
هیچکی
business
جسارت
and
نداره
no
بره اونو
one
بگیره.
has the
یکی
will
پیدا میشه
to
عقلش کمه، میره اون
take that on.
سنگ و ور
Someone
میداره
who
و
maybe
موفقترش
lacks
میکنه. وقتی
in
موفقترش
IQ
میکنه
goes and
همه
takes that
مدعی میشن.
stone and he
نمیگن اون
makes it
موقعی که
more
نیاز
successful.
بود
Then
ما
everybody
رفتیم
wants that.
خودمون رو انداختیم به خطر، اونو
They don't say
بزرگش
that
کردیم.
when
همه
this
مدعیش میشن.
business needed someone,
بهتره که
he or she
خودشون
was the one who
با
take up the stone.
خودشون و
It's
تمام اون
better for the family
خانواده
to
یا
have a
لیدری که
talk
این
among
برندو
its
داره
own. They have
تکلیفشون
to
رو روشن
choose a
کنن.
leader and they have to
من اگر
talk about
تونستم
everything.
برند
If
رفتاری رو موفقش کنم، چون
I
همون
did
اول
manage to
تکلیفم
make
رو هم با
Raftari
خودم بدون
more
رو درواسی،
successful,
هم با
It
تمام
was
اون
because
کسایی که
I
وابستش بودن
thought
روشن
about it with
کردم
myself
یعنی
and we
امروز
discussed it
منم مثل
together
خیلی
with
از
my
برندها البته
family.
همونطور که جناب دکتر
Or else
فروتن گفتن ما
today
تعداد زیادی برند
we would not
خانوادگی
be
که
that successful.
4 نسل
And
کانتینیوس
as
ادامه داده
my
بشه
friend here has said,
نداریم
we don't have
ولی
many
همونایی که
uh,
نسل دومن نسل
restaurant
سومن
companies
مشکلات رو
which
دارن
have
میتونن همون
continued for
اول
4 generations.
تکلیفشون رو با
But those who are
خودشون
not
و
really
خانوادهشون
successful,
روشن
that's because
نکردن و
they
الان
didn't
دلخورن از همدیگه
discuss it
ببخشید
among themselves, and
خیلی
now they
ممنون
have
استاد شما
problems.
نکته
جمله پایانی
Thank you so
که
much.
جناب رفتاری بود یک
The
شهروند
final
ایرانی
sentence
به شما
that
پیشنهاد کردن که
Abedi Raftari has proposed
برای آبروی ایران ارزش
is
قائل
that
بشیم
please
و
value
منافع
Iran's
شخصیمون
honor
آبروی ایران رو
and
نبریم
do not
اگر چنین کردیم ایران رو
hurt our
سرباز کردیم
country's reputation for
آبروی
our own
ایران
profit.
تقدس هر ایرانیه
Keeping Iran's
متشکرم آقای
honor
رفتاری مرسی
is necessary for
مرسی
everyone.
خب من دوست عزیزمون ردیف
Well,
چهارم اگر اشتباه نکنم
my
صبور
friend, I
بایستید که
think,
دوستان من هم
uh,
با
is
میکروفون
sitting
شما
in
ببینن. چون
row
آقای
number
فروتن
4.
الان بهتون
Please stand
تذکر
up.
میده که بیاین جلو
And
وایسین،
because Mr.
خودتون از
Frutan
الان
is
بیاین جلو
going to
وایسین.
tell you to come
منتظر
closer,
تذکر آقای
please do
فروتن
it
نباشید.
yourself. Don't wait for Mr. Frutan.
دوستان صدا نداره.
Can you pass them a microphone? Hello, everyone. I had one
خودتون رو
question.
معرفی کنین الان آقای
Please
فروتن
introduce
تذکر
yourself.
میدم. I'm Yasin Amiri from Ahvaz. I have an advertising agency because I do logo design. I had a question. I want to know, most of our customers come and say that please design our brand, our logo like that brand. For instance, they have an online shop and they want their brand, their logo like DigiColors. Or they have an application, they want their logo like Bluebank. How much is that authentic and allowed? Well, correct, we don't have copyright rules, but how is it استاد شما بفرمایید.
moral?
ببینید اگر میخواید اینو بستش بدید به اونی که
Well,
من گفتم که
if you want to
رفتیم و برند وکا رو
relate
درخواست
that
کردیم
to
و اون رو انجام
Marvaka
دادیم یک
uh,
حیثیت مملکت بود
story, that
این
was about
داستانش خیلی فرق
Iran's
میکرد
face. That
ولی
had
اگه
a different
داخلی باشه
story.
من خودم هیچ
But if
اعتقادی
it is
ندارم یعنی فکر
in
میکنم هر
Iran,
کس که
its
اراده کنه
interior,
بیزنسی
I
رو
think
انجام
if
بده
anyone who is
اصلا نیاز اینه که
just
لگو
trying to
شبیه لگوی
initiate
اون
a
یکی
business,
باشه شما
he doesn't
کیفیت
need
کارته
to
که
have the
شما رو
same
وارد
logo as
میکنه
another one. They
نه
only
یعنی
need
که
high
حالا لوگو
qualities,
شبیه لوگوی یک
not
برند
the
بزرگی هم باشه
logo
ولی کیفیت
like
اون رو
a
نداشته باشه
big
هیچ چیزی
company
واسط محقق نمیشه
or a big brand.
میتونه
Without
آدم
a
بره
without a good
ایده‌ها رو
quality, you
برداره
cannot
پردازشش
profit.
کنه بهترش
You
بکنه
need
انجامش
good
بده
ideas. You need
کپی
to develop your
الان شما
ideas
ببینید
and make
چینیا
them
که الان
better.
مارکت بازار دنیا رو
Now,
گرفتن برای چی گرفتن تو
Chinese
خودرو
have
یه عمر رفتن هی
the
نگاه
whole
کردن
market.
کپی برداری کردن سر
How do you
خطا
think they did
کردن
it?
الان
They
میتونن به همه بگن
observed,
ما بهتر از شماییم
they tried and
کپی رو
errored, and
برداری
now
بشی
they can
بهتر از
say
اون
that
طرف
we learned.
از نظر من هیچ اشکالی نداره
If you take a
استاد
copy
شما
and
نکته.
make it better, I think uh,
خاموش نشد.
there is nothing wrong
منتشر
with that.
لوگو باشید
A wise
مقلد
man
لوگو
once
نباشید
said, be a logo but not a
چقدر
copier, a copycat of a logo.
خیر الکلام ما قل و دل. دوست عزیزمون که پیرن آبی پوشیدن، بله بله تشریف بیارین جلو
My good
لطفا.
friend in blue shirt, can you
خودتونم
please
معرفی کنین هم
come
در حین
closer
اومدنم بفرمایید.
and please introduce yourself as you're walking? In the name of God.
یه ذره
Hello
میکروفون بالاتر
everyone.
بگیرین که ما بشنویم.
Let's take the microphone up, please. Hello to all the audience and the lecturers. I'm Mohammad Yousefi. I'm 20 years old. Because of my age, I want to have my own business, but my worries are with how can I face my own fears? How can I face the challenges in initiating my business?
انسان دو تا انرژی داره
Humankind has
ترس
two
و
sources
شجاعت.
of energy,
ترس
fear
یعنی
and
فهمیدن،
braveness. Fear
این
means
بی‌غیرتی.
understanding.
شجاعت مترادف ترس.
Bravery has the
اگه
same
من
meaning.
میترسم شجاع
If
میشم.
you
این بچه‌های
fear, you
کوچولو
will
تو خونه
become brave.
مثلا دست به
You
سرم
see, when
بخوام
the
بزنن
wild
یه کار
kids,
زشتی
when
میکنن
you do
مثلا
something
به
bad
تنش
and
میکنی
you want
حمله
to punish
میکنن
them, they
خودش
attack you.
نمیرسه شجاع
They
میشه چون
cannot
ترسیده. یادتون
attack you,
باشه
but they
ترس
become
رو بپذیرید
brave
تا
because
بخواد
he is
شجاع بشید.
afraid.
این کل اما اگه باور داشته باشید
If
به
you
کاری
believe in
هیچ
something,
وقت
you will
نمیترسید.
never fear.
ترس از ابهامه و
You
برای اینکه
always
ابهام
fear
نشید
of
خیال
vague.
کارتون تفکر بکنید هم به
In order
شما
not to
هم
be
به
afraid, you
بقیه.
have to think
هر موقع
more about
ترسیدید
something.
از مشاوره ها استفاده
Whenever
کنید.
you're afraid,
مشاوره
please
ها
use
میدونه ترس
consultants.
تو راهنمایی خواهد کرد که چگونه بهتر
They
بشید.
know your
اگه
fear
خوب
and they
بیاندیشید
will
هیچ وقت
advise you
نمیترسی به
how to
نتیجه
think.
شجاع خواهی بود. و من در عمرم
And
بسیار ترسیدم
I've
ولی
I've been
بعدا
afraid a
بسیار
lot
شجاع
in
شدم.
my life, and
خیلی
I've
ممنون حسین
been
شما
brave
بفرمایید.
too.
بله کاملا درسته دیگه اصلا ترس
Yes, that
شما
is
وقتی کلمه
absolutely
ترس رو پیش
right.
خودت تو مغز
When you
خودت
use the word fear
پروندهش رو باز میکنی دیگه
and
خودت
you
تکلیف با خودت
open it
روشنه
up,
دیگه
you know what
دیگه
is
بالاتر
wrong
از
with you.
مرگ که نیستش که
There's nothing
مرگ
more
نمیشه
than that,
یعنی
is
اصلا
it?
چشتو
You have to
چیزی که
go
بهش
on.
اعتقاد داری فقط
What
چشتو
you
به بقیه
believe
میبینی
in, you have to
خیلی
just
عالی.
close your eyes
آقا یه
and go
دونه از اون
forward.
تشویقا بکنین که آقای فروتن
You
بهتون تذکر
please do
نده.
a fruit and like
خب یه دوست
applaud.
عزیزی دوتا دستش
The
بالاست این انتهای سالن
someone
فکر
has
کنم
his both
آبی
hands
قرمز میشه.
up.
بله بله.
He's
آقا
wearing
تشریف
blue,
بیارین
blue and
جلو
red.
آقای فروتن.
Please come forward.
من خدمت عزیزان
I just
بگم
wanted to
من
say,
برنامه
guys,
بریک
do you
داریم
have
شما
a
بله
break
آقا
time?
بریک داریم آقای بادامی. بله بله.
که
Do
من
we?
بعد از
Yes,
گفتگو با
yes.
شما یه تقریری
من
کوچیک
از که سوال دارن اگر نرسید بهشون
For
لطفا
those who
بفرمایین
have a
که
question, if they
درباره
couldn't ask
بقیه سخنران
because
بشه
of
بریم تا
the
هر
time
وقت
limit,
دستور
they
باشه
can
شما در
ask me
خدمتیم.
آقا
anytime they
واقعا
want
تشویق
out
کنید آقای
of the hall.
نادر
Please,
رفتاری
you have
عزیز.
to applaud Nader after Raftari.
بفرم.
عرض ادب دارم خدمت شما استاد. من امین بنی هاشمی هستم،
Hello, I'm
مؤسس
Amin
شرکت
Bani
املاکی
Hashemi.
بنیکس.
I'm
تقریبا 2 سال
founder of
هستش که ما
Banix,
به صورت
an advising
اینترنشنال کار
company.
میکنیم با
We
برندها
have
در
we have been working
امارات.
international
سوالی که
in
دارم اینه که
Emirat
با توجه به اینکه به هر حال
for 2 years
بیزینس
now.
شما
My question is,
فامیلی
well,
بیزینسی بود
considering
که
that your
اسم
business is
رفتاری ثبت شده بود،
the only
اما شما
business
به هر حال
named
بسیار تحقیق هم
Raftari,
تجربه
well,
کردید
you
و
do
اپروچ کردید به
own
خارج از
other
کشور،
businesses.
جسارت
You
کردید
have
رفتید
approached
و
the
هدف
foreign
داشتید برای
markets.
ایران
You
سازماندهی
had
کنید.
goals for
اینکه
Iran.
ارجحیت رو
You wanted to
در واقع برند
develop
رفتاری
it.
نذاشتید و
The fact that you
کارهایی که
didn't
هم انجام
put
دادید
all your
اینو
efforts
چطوری
in
مدیریت کرد؟ آیا
Raftari
سیستماتیکی بود؟
brand
به چه
and you
صورت
did
بوده؟ چون
make
من
other
همیشه تو ذهنم این شکلیه که شاید اگر
brands,
یک
how
برند
did you
میخواد
manage
بره
it?
جلو تمام
I
ارجحیت
always thought
و
if you
سیستم
are
ساختار باید به اون برند
developing
باشه.
one
اما
brand, you
شما
have to
واقعا تو
focus on it,
کاتگوری
but
های دیگه
you
بودید و تو
could
اونها موفق بودید.
multitask
نمیدونم
and have
شناسش
different
استاد.
brands. What's the key to that?
ارزم به خدمت شما ببینید برند
Let me
رفتاری
answer
رو
you
من
in a
در اون
way.
مقطعی
Well,
که
Raftari
کارم
brand,
شروع
when I
کردم
started these other
نسل چهارم
professions, it
هنوز
was
به اون
the
بلوغ
fourth
سنی
generation
نرسیده بود که من
didn't
بتونم به
have
اینها
that
انتقال بدم
uh,
و بتونم این رو
maturity
فراتر از کشورمون
for me
ببرم
to give them my
و
experiences
کار رو
and take
بسازم
them
ما
abroad
بزرگترین
and do the
مشکل در
work.
کشور جانشین
Our
پروریه
biggest problem in Iran
و
is
این جانشین
having
پروری
heirs,
خانواده
and
ها
this
فکر میکنن که بستر
succession
و
planning,
حاضر و
uh,
آماده واسه
families
بچه
think they
بکنن
must
و وقتی که حاضر و
have
آماده شد میگن آقا بفرما
have
سوار
the
شو
bed all ready
هیچ
for the
وقت اون
child,
سوار شدنه این چیزی
and when
که
they are ready,
امروز
you
بهش
can
خیره
just
شده
say them hop in.
موفقیتش خیلی
That
طولانی
usually
نبوده
doesn't work.
به
They
جهتی
usually do
که
not
اصلا
succeed because
رانندگی رو
uh,
یاد ندادی
we
که
haven't
جانشین
taught
پشت
them how
فرمون
to
واسطه
drive. How can they sit behind the
زمانی که من
wheels?
نسل چهارم آوردم
When I
10 سال
brought the
گذشته
fourth
و تو این
generation
10 سال
on,
با
it was
انرژی
10
اونا
years
و
ago, and
تفکر اونا
during the
ما
last
اومدیم
10
رفتاری
years,
رو از
with
یک
their
کتگوری به
energy,
کتگوری دیگه بردیم و
we
استارتاپش
brought
کردیم
Raftari
نشستیم
brand into
تمام
different
تکنولوژی
categories.
روز
We
دنیا
made
در
it on
صنعت
startup.
غذا رو
We
چیکار
used
کردیم
all
اجرایی
the
کردیم
new
در کشورمون
technologies in food
و بعضیش هم
industry
در
in our
دنیا شاید
country.
تنها کسی بودیم که این کارو
We were
کردیم
the
و
only
کاری
company
امروز
who did
انجام
this
دادیم این
until now.
بستر باید حاضر باشه
This
بستر
infrastructure must
خانوادگی رو
be
دی ان ایش
uh,
رو
ready. DNA. You cannot just transfer the DNA in one night. but businesses like refrigerator, you need technicians. You will ask for their help, their idea, and you continue in the path. You do not need to give him or her the DNA of your family. Now, if you ask me, why haven't you made a brand in foreign countries? Let me say, maybe I will until the end of this year. You need the infrastructure. I had to uh, make the infrastructure ready for my kids to make them interested in this business, for them to come and participate. And families, well, because I do believe in equality of genders, I brought my daughters in with respect and with honor to say that there is no difference between a man and a woman.
خیلی ممنونم استاد.
Thank you very
خب
much.
ما به سوالها رو که
Well,
اگر اجازه بدید بعدش آقای
if you
رفتاری
allow me,
هستن
Mr. Raftari
و
will
میتونید
stay
ازشون سوال
and you
بکنید،
can
ضمن
ask him
اینکه
your questions.
در واقع باید قطعا
Also,
به قسمت
now we
تقدیر
have to
مراسممون برسیم.
step
من دعوت
forward
میکنم
to
از
the
جناب آقای
appreciation part of
مهندس
this event.
هزاوه، معاون محترم
I
فناوری
invite
پارک
Mr.
پردیس، تشریف
Hezave,
بیارید. آقای
Deputy
مهندس
of the Technology Park of
تقدیرنامه‌ای
Padis.
آماده
Please
شده
come
از
on
طرف
the
مجموعه
stage.
چامه
A
و
letter of
از طرف
appreciation
پارک علم و
has been
فناوری
written by the
پردیس
Technology Park of
که خدمت
Padis and
آقای
Charm
مهندس
events
نادر
that
رفتاری
will
عزیز
be
تقدیم میکنم.
given to Mr. Nader Raftari.
خب من اگر اجازه بدید
Well,
این
if you allow
تقدیرنامه
me,
رو بخونم که
I will read
دوستان
this
هم
letter of
تقدیرنامه های ما در
appreciation
واقع
because our
برای هر
letters of
کدام از
appreciation
مهمانانمون یونیک هست.
are
به
unique to
چامه
every
حکایت شد این
guest.
داستان، رود نیکبخت از پی
It was
راستان.
told
تقدیم
through
به آن که
this
نه فقط کسب و کاری
poetry,
ساخت بلکه
lucky
چراغی
who
روشن
looks
کرد
for
در
honesty,
دل تاریکی
presented to
تهدیدها.
he who
آن که
not
نه
only
فقط
made
اشتغال
a
آفرید که
business,
امید آفرید.
but he
آن که
who
جوانیش را خرج ساختن
light a
ایران کرد
lamp,
و ماند با تمام رنجها
who
تا
stayed
وطن
in
بماند.
Iran
جناب آقای
with
نادر
all the
رفتاری، مالک
hardships
محترم
for
بریم
Iran to stay.
رستوران رفتاری،
Mr. Nader
شما
Raftari,
ویراستار
the
یک
owner
سفره
of
اید، سفره ای که از سال
Raftari restaurant. You
1289
own a
تا
dinner
امروز
that has
حتی
lasted
یک
from
روز هم جمع نشد، نه در
1382
طوفان،
and
نه در
hasn't denied
بحران، نه
anyone,
در روزهای
not
سخت
even for a
قرنطینه.
day, not in
رفتاری
typhoons,
فقط یک
not in
رستوران
quarantines.
نیست،
Raftari
رکتبای
is not only
خاطره
a
و طعم
restaurant,
در حافظه چند
it's a
نسل ایرانی
memory
است.
and
ما جوانان
essence in
امروز
the
وارث
memories
فردایی
of
هستیم که شما
millions of
ساختید
Iranians.
و امروز با
We will
تمام
be
وجود
heir
بر
to the future
دستانتان
you
بوسه
built,
میزنیم به
and
پاس یک
today we
عمر
will kiss your
ساختن
hands
به احترام یک
with
عمر
all our
ایستادن.
might
سایتان مستدام
to
و
the honor
راهتان
of
روشنگر
your
راه ما.
persistence.
تشریف
Long live.
بفرمایید آقای
Please applaud
رفتاری عزیز.
Mr.
ما این
Raftari
تقدیرنامه به همراه
and this
هدیه
letter of
اسپانسر رویداد
appreciation with
15
our
شام میلی
sponsors
یک
gift
شمش
a
طلا
bar of
خدمت
gold
آقای
to
دکتر رفتاری
Mr.
عزیز میشه.
Dr.
ارادت داریم.
Raftari.
هدیه دیگری هم از
Another
سمت
gift
پارک فناوری پردیس
from
خدمت آقای دکتر
Technology
تقدیم
Park
میشه.
of
جناب آقای
Addis
نادر رفتاری.
is presented to
اطلاع
Nader
وطن مرهون به
Raftari.
کوشش‌های بی‌دریغ
Mr. Raftari,
کارآفرینان
our country
متعهد و کارآمدی
owes
است که در
its
پرتو الطاف
success
خداوند
to
سبحان با انگیزه
entrepreneurs
ستودنی
like
همتشان را
you
برای ارزش
who,
آفرینی
with
در
their
اقتصاد
persistence
و ترویج فرهنگ کارآفرینی
and their
کشور
endeavor,
بلند و
tried
ارادهشان را
and
استوار
endeavored
کرده‌اند.
and
بایسته
showed
است
their
از
will.
تلاش‌های
It is
وافر جناب عالی
appropriate
در این مسیر
that
و
we
حضور و
appreciate
مشارکت
all your
داوطلبانه
endeavors
ورزشکارانتان در
and your
نمایشگاه بین‌المللی
voluntarily
نوآوری و فناوری اینوتکس و
presence in Innotex
سخاوتتان در
events
بذل توجه و
and your
دانش و تجربه
generosity
به نسل
in
جوان باورمند به
education
پیشرفت
and
توسعه
departing your
ایران
experience
سپاسگزاری کنیم.
for Iran's
مهدی
development.
سفارینیا
Mehdi
رئیس پارک
Safarinia,
فناوری پردیس به همراه
head
هدیه‌ای
of
از تولیدات
Technology
یکی
Park of
از
Padis,
شرکت‌های دانش بنیان
along with
مستقر در
one
پارک
of the knowledge-based
فناوری پردیس
companies
خدمت
in
آقای
Technology Park
دکتر
of
نادر
Padis,
رفتاری شما.
presented to
خانم و
Dr.
آقایان
Nader
نادر
Raftari.
رفتاری
Ladies
رو
and
تشویق
gentlemen,
بفرمایید.
let's hear it for Nader Raftari.
آقا ارادت داریم. خب آقای پادان
Mr.
چند
Padon,
دقیقه
how
برای اینکه
much of break do we have?
تا ساعت 1 دوستان
Till
ما
1
تا
o'clock.
ساعت 1 توی بریک
Well,
هستیم و
my
بعد از اون
friends, we
خدمت
are in the break
آقای خان
till
محمدی
1 o'clock,
خواهیم
and
بود
after which we will
از
be
برند
having
نان
Mr.
سحر با
Khan
افتخار
Mohammadi
خدمتتون خواهیم
with the brand Non Sahar.
من یه
I
نکته دیگه خدمت
There
دوستان
is one
بگم
other note
عذرخواهی
I
میکنم
have
این
to
صدا رو یه ذره کم
add.
یه نکته دیگه
Please
بگم برای
take the
میل
volume
کردن
down.
ناهار در واقع
To
سالن
eat
غذاخوری و فود کورت
lunch,
توی ساختمون
the
مرکزی
food court is in the main
پارک پردیس
structure
هست
of
از طرف مجموعه
Paradise
تلاونگ هم
Technology
یک
Park, and
مجموعه
also
جدیدی
Tlovang
که
Complex
پروتئین
has
بار هست
protein bars. You can try that.
ولی میگذره این. خب این کاری که داره میکنه فوق
What you're
العاده است. یعنی
doing here is
خود
spectacular.
برگزاری ایونت،
Having this
خود
event,
روشن کردن افراد
educating
به
people, making
اتفاقات
them aware
خوب
of
یکی از
good
بهترین
happenings
اتفاقاته.
is
در
one of the
خودت هم که
best
میبینی
things
که
that
دور الا
happened
دور
here.
دیگه. حالا شما با سخت‌ترین قشری
And
داره کار میکنی. یعنی
you're
بچه‌ها
working with the
خیلی
hardest
سخت‌تر از این بزرگان میشینن،
portion of
گوش کنن. یعنی
people,
باید انقدر
kids.
خودت اون تالنتی در وجودت
You have
باشه
to
که
have
بتونی اونا
that
رو
talent
مدیریت کنی
to
و حذفشون
manage
انجام
them
بدی.
and make them listen.
در خدمت.
Thank you.
خواهش می‌کنم.
ممنونم از شما که امروز در حضور ما
Thank you
هستید.
for
من 4 سالی
being
از
with
زمینه
us.
نقره و طلا فعالیت
I've
می‌کنم
been working
مجازی به صورت
with
آنلاین.
silver and
پارسال
gold
که
for
ما
4 years
افزایش
now
قیمت دلار خیلی
online.
شدیدی داشتیم،
Last year
چون نقره من
that we
خارج
had
این
uh,
سال من خارج از
dollar
ایران توی
price
عراق هم
increase,
کار
my
می‌کنم،
silver
هم
sale
آنلاین توی
was
عراق و توی
uh,
ایران.
has greatly
امسال که طلا
decreased.
رو اضافه کردم یک سال خورده ای
Now
طلا
that
رو
we
اضافه
added
کردم طلا تو ایران
gold
خیلی خوب داره
for
فروش
1
میره،
year and a
میتونه
half,
توی عراق خیلی.
gold is
منتها خب
selling
بستر
so
برند
much better in
من
Iran, and silver
بستر
is
برند من
selling so
نقره
much
بوده
good
از
in
اول. الان
Iraq.
به این گره خوردم که آیا نقره
And
رو
my
از ایران تحویل
infrastructure
کنم
was
تمرکز رو
based
روی
in
عراق بذارم، طلا رو
silver,
حفاظتر
on
رو روی
silver.
ادامه بدم. یه دوره‌ای
Now I
بوده توی
don't know if
اقتصاد ایران
this
میگذره
shall
این.
pass or I
الان
should change my
اکثر
strategy.
عزیزایی که
Look,
در رابطه
now
با کار
most of
آنلاین
those who
طلا،
work
نقره
in
و مس،
online
آینده تو
gold
مس و نقره است
or silver,
و
the
بیشتر طلا.
future is in
چرا؟ چون
silver and
قشر
gold.
متوسط داره
Why?
در دنیا
Because
رشد میکنه،
the
نه قشر
moderate is
پولدار.
developing,
ما
not
قشر
the rich.
پولدار نه کشور ما، کل دنیا
The rich,
داره
not only
شیفت
in
میشه
our
به قشر
country,
متوسط.
they are shifting
یعنی
to
جمعیت قشر
moderate.
متوسط
I mean, the
دنیا
moderate
بیشتر از
population
قشر
is
در حال حاضر خواهد شد
increasing
و قشر
more
ضعیف
than the
هم
current
کمتر میشه. این قشر
rich,
متوسطه
and
در
also the
واقع. این
poor
قشر
will
متوسط
decrease.
شاید به
This
چشش
poor
نگیره
that I'm
طلا
talking
بخره،
about maybe
ولی به
doesn't
چشش
want to
میاد
buy
5 گرم
gold,
مس
but
بخره، 5
he
گرم
or she
نقره
might
بخره
want to buy
و
a small
پوشش بده.
amount of
یه سوال دیگه این که
silver.
من فضای مجازی
Another
بودم
question is,
هزینه
uh,
اولیه مثل حضوری
well,
نداره، میتونم
because
این خط
I do
ادامه
not
بدم یا
have
یه
بله
سرمایه
much
اضافه کنم
اصلا
capital,
حضوری
can
الان
شروع
I
کنم؟
continue
اتشه
in online
آنلاین
or
واسه
shall
مردم
I
خیلی
start
جذابه.
working in person?
این اتشه حالا یه
And
سریش
now
ضرب
online
کالا
is
هست
a
دیگه تو همه
trend.
جا هست، ولی خودش اون خیلی خوبه.
پیشنهاد حضوری
So
پس
you do not
بدم؟
suggest I
نه
do
حضوری
in
فقط
person. No,
هزینه‌ت
no, no.
میبره بالا
It will
و
just
ما
make your expense more.
WBC عمدتاً
20 or
وزارت
30
غذا
years
به 60%
later, in
رستوران‌ها
food
جمع میشه
industry,
به جهت
60%
اجاره
of all
مالي،
restaurants will
منابع
close
انسانی.
because
شما
of the
همین الان
high
تو
rent
آنلاین فروشید
and
منابع انسانی نداری که.
uh,
منابع انسانی
human
یکی
resources.
بزرگترین معضل همه جای دنیا تو
In
کشور
your
ما زیاد
online
نمیشه.
shop, you
یه سوال
have
آخر
no
این که
human
زمانی که ما به
resources.
چالش‌های خیلی بزرگی تو کار
The
می‌خوریم
last
به خاطر
question,
شرایط اقتصادی یا حالا
when we
نبودن
have
چون جنسیت
large
همه وارداتی،
challenges,
اون لحظه‌هایی
well,
که
we
گره
have
میفته توی کار احساس می‌کنید
imported
دیگه تهشه، بعدش
products.
چجوری به خودتون انگیزه میدین ادامه
When you
بدین؟
think you're on
ما
your
چالشات
last
رو
stand,
نمیبینیم ادامه
what do you
میدیم. ته
do?
و هیچ وقت نمیبینیم ادامه
You never
میدیم، با
actually
خوبرویی ادامه
see
میدیم.
the end.
توجه نمی‌کنم.
توجه
Do not
نمیکنیم.
pay attention to that feeling and just go on.
سلام عرض میکنم جناب رفتاری. من
قربونت برم.
نیکپور
Hello, Mr.
هستم.
Raftari. I'm
تو
Mikpur.
حوزه ایژوکیشن کار میکنم
I
و
بله
work in
فیلد تخصصی
education.
من آموزش
My
کودک
specialty is
5 تا 15
educating
ساله.
children from 5 to
نیکپورم
15.
و 5 تا 15 سال دارم کار میکنم. مسئله
I'm
اصلیم هم
Mikpur and I
ایژوکیشنه
work with
بله
و
children
مطالعه‌ای که
from
بعد
5 to
برای بچه‌ها
15.
بذاریم، مدل هایی هم که دارم بهش فکر
We
میکنم
have
مدل های
different
بومیه.
models and
کاری هم که
they're all
کردیم سعی کردیم
localized.
در
What we
در
did
7 سال
through the
گذشته
previous
ارتباط با صنعت رو از
7
10
days,
سالگی شروع
uh,
بکنیم. یعنی یه سری
بله
کلاسامون رو توی
we
کارخونه‌مون
are
برگزار کردیم،
starting
استاپ و
the
الکتریک و
کاری
a
که
سنجی.
میتونیم
connection
ما
with
انجام میدیم.
آره،
industry
میخوایم این
from
کار رو
10
توسعه
years old.
بدیم. یه
We
بخشی
are
اینو
trying
داریم.
to
سعی کردیم
develop
در
that.
کنارش کتاب فروشی
We are
تخصصی هم
also trying
راه بندازیم
to
که فیلد
sell
تخصصی داشته باشیم.
technical books, to give proper books to kids. Now,
که صرفا
except
برندهای فرهنگی
شهر
هستن،
کتاب
هیچ
and
برند
Bookland,
فرهنگی
we
در زمینه
have
کودک
no
نداریم.
other
مسئله
brands
اصلیمون الان
for kids.
بحث سود بحث کتابه و بحث دوره‌هایی
Now
که
we're
می‌خوایم
talking
برگزار
about
بکنیم
profits
و
and
اینکه
books
بخوایم
and the
کارمون رو اسکیل بکنیم.
education
با توجه
courses
به
we are
اینکه حالا
going
ما
to
توی خدمات شاید
initiate.
بتونیم اسکیل بکنیم، یعنی مثلا شما
We
بتونید
can
سرویسی
scale
رو
in
آنلاین ارائه بدید،
services,
ولی فیلد
for
کودک
instance,
دقیقاً
online
احتیاج داره
services,
به
but
معلم
kids
درست درمون و اسکیل
industry
کردنش
needs
مسئله است.
proper
میخواستم که یه
educators,
جواب
and
اجمالی ازتون اینجا
actually
بگیرم و اگه
the
اجازه بدین
challenge
که
is
یک
the
روزم حضوری
scaling.
خدمتتون برسم.
And if you allow, I will come to you in person. It's okay, but you need to actually discuss that with Dr. Mufahedi. You have my mobile phone? Call me, I will refer you to him. Thank you. Hello, good day, I'm Pur Mansouri. I have two challenges. First, I have 27 ISI articles. I have 3 books in Cambridge and American IGIs. I'm really thinking about staying or going and starting up my own business. I'm thinking about, well, I'm from Bushehr, and as you know, Iran state has no interesting patterns. They are not attractive. When I decided starting this business, everyone says, no, please go. There's nothing to do here in our country. Why didn't they go? My sister is in America. My parents are teachers. My brother has his own business. And the little one is studying. So your family tells you to go. Everyone says. My family says if you start this job, at the end you will be like anyone who got bankrupt. There are many successful people in our country. Why did they say are you going to get bankrupt? Because we haven't seen the successful people. You have the knowledge. You want to pack and sell the dates in the foreign countries? You can do that right here. 100%. I cannot agree with immigrations. Even if you are the owner himself, you can be that right here in our country. You talked about importing modern technologies. That happens really hard. A machine that happens to be 3 million 2 months for an Iranian, the same machine they are selling to Iranians 130 million 2 months. You can ask the Iranian companies to make it for you. Anything you want, any machine. I used to be working for Chinese people for 20 years. Now they are increasing their prices. Actually, the Iranian device is so high. Import it. You mean there's no problem? The government won't make obstacles saying that you had the product in Iran? The government can't do anything. You can do it legally or illegally. It's easy. Thank you. Before anything else, I have to thank you for preparing this opportunity for us to ask this question. I'm Tarkhasi, I'm a chef. For my love for cooking, I used to cook healthy food for years. What do you mean healthy? I studied the relation between food and health. You mean you worked on RGPD? No, personally. Actually, what you say is long GPT. It depends on how you cook and your strategy, the ingredient you use. The last version in the world about human health in food industry is long GPT. Yeah, I wasn't aware with the phrase. It increases the lifestyle. For my love for this industry, ingredient and human health, I did some innovations and I created the recipe for complement and right now it has license for health Organization of Gilan. It helped the metabolism problems. I have statistics, all those who were helped to control their sugar and the liver, along with a few tactics. But as you know, an only street ingredient cannot help cure a sickness. Lifestyle also needs to change. All right. But if I want to sum it up, I want to. I'm actually a bit distracted. I don't know what to do. The foods I make, I did have a small catering. I did make healthy food, the food I made in my own house. But when I got all these positive reactions, I wanted to continue. It opened a new path for me. Some patients said they had fatty livers, they have diabetes. There is a project we will start on the first day of the 4th month. We're going to start that project with 20 doctors, 20 years of research. We are concerned about fatty liver, sugar, hemorrhoid. We are working on a very large project, and you have my phone number. Call.
Okay, I'd like to once again begin with the name of God. I hope you're all doing well and have enjoyed the event so far. Before I begin, I'd like to say today we have a wonderful thing is here, and our wonderful thing probably, what time is it now? 1:15. So our wonderful thing would be able to be enjoyed. We're going to enjoy it at like 2:15. We have a very special guest who was not part of our initial plans, but you're going to get to know him over at then. Very much respected, and I think we once have had the pleasure of having our great lecturer and our special guest in the 14th Jame, if I'm not mistaken. So that's that. I'd like to ask if you're taking pictures or sharing anything on your social media, I would ask you to just tag our page on Instagram and any other social media for us to be able to be with you in your moments you're sharing, and we might share it as well, reshare it. And statistics that I want to repeat is we've had more than 55 million views that have come from the 400,000 followers that we have overall Instagram, something which is 300 times the amount of people who attended GX last year. So we had Nader Raftari here. I believe if you had enjoyed Mr. Raftari's speech and panel, please have a round of applause for him, and who have provided us with his number, which is a good opportunity for everyone here for asking questions and using his experiences in fields of startups. So that was that. Let us go for our dear guest. Let us have a round of applause for him. In the clip you just watched was the video had Siyavush Safarianpour, Milad Munshipur, ex-CEO of Tapsi, Shahab Jawahmardi, executive manager of FanAb. I believe we had the pleasure of having or hosting 70 of our great entrepreneurs and also industrialists in here, which I believe calls for a round of applause. Let us invite